There we go. It's not a month without a lap mute. Are you guys still practicing your lip reading? See, I was going on about the only thing you missed. The only thing you missed, I was saying that there's a lot of glitches going on in the world today with Facebook down. My wife is like, hey, I can't get on my Facebook, can't get on Instagram. I can't get on this, I can't get on that. This is down, that's down. So I was just saying if I tend to glitch out a little bit, other than muting, because that's just not really a glitch. If D Block glitches out when he's on, well, it might be just servers going down somewhere in the world. You really thought you had the mute. All right. I fooled EVC. Yes. Yeah. Next time I'll just do that. I'll just pretend that the mute is on and blame you guys. You guys turn your volume up. It's on your end. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Getting your drops, having some fun. Very special episode today as we reflect back on the favorite cards that we had in Iron and Bronze. Which ones are similar, which ones are different, which surprises might pop up in terms of some of the ones we had fun playing with. Again, really cold here in the Edmonton, Alberta region, minus 28 degrees, minus 17 to 28, somewhere in that range as a high and a low. So it's still going to be cold for the next couple of days. For you Fahrenheit people, again, that's about 1 degree Celsius. Yeah. 1 degree getting down to minus 18 degrees Fahrenheit. 1 degree Fahrenheit, minus 18 degree Fahrenheit. Come on, lap. There we go. All right. Tuesday morning is always the roughest because Monday is like nonstop streaming and prepping. I got my OOTP show. I got my hockey show at night. And then I'm up early Tuesday trying to get things going again. So bear with me. And no, it's not every day. It's usually Tuesdays. So yes, it is cold here, and it's going to stay cold here for the next couple of days. Good to see Attica's here. Wiz Nation is here. EVC, Ezra, Denny. Tune in March the 12th as Lap, EVC, and Ezra. Yes. Speaking of March the 12th, thank you, Ezra, for the lead-in. I did not instruct you to do that at all. It is March the 11th, though, Ezra. March the 11th. You're 1 day off. Or my 1 day off, 1 week from Monday. Yeah, that's March the 11th. Woo! Thought I made another mistake here. Monday, March the 11th, we have the Waggy Awards. Yes, the questions that I had you guys answer on the Google form. We will present the winners to that. There will be special drops on that day. Get your last OOTP24 drops. Because 1 day later, the final beta version comes out, and those of you that pre-ordered it, I hope you pre-ordered it. Did you pre-order it? Because if you pre-ordered it, you will get 30% off and you will get a code immediately. If you pre-order the desktop version, you will get a code for entering in for the beta version when it comes out on March the 12th. Sometime. Could be 1 o'clock, could be 11 o'clock, could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At some point on March the 12th, the beta version will come out. So pre-order it. If you only want to play it on Steam, you won't be able to play the beta version. You'll have to wish list it on your Steam account. And then when it comes out on Friday, March the 15th, you'll be able to play it to your heart's galore. But a lot of the streamers will be playing it, I would think, starting on March the 12th with the beta version. So again, get that. Also, the road to release tomorrow night, either on Twitch or on YouTube, not sure where. We will have Dr. Dynastic and Rich Grisham going through the Baseball Hall of Fame partnership, new to OOTP this year. A brand new partnership. Just like this year, there was a partnership with the Baseball Reference, partnerships with certain players, you know, the Clemente and the Robinson. This coming year, Baseball Hall of Fame. So excited to hear what that's about. And in less than 1 week, we are 6 days away from Paul Spora coming on and getting us all hyped up for what to expect in Perfect Team 25. So again, as Ezra mentioned, EVC, myself, and a few guests that are going to pop in throughout the award show We'll be on next Monday, trying to get 100 responses. We've got 62 so far. If you have not filled this out, give your input, because we are taking the results from what you guys have said in your votes. Vote on your favorite aspects of OOTP 24, and we will reveal the results on that award show. So I'm going to keep this open until after my show on Thursday. Again, just a bunch of different questions for you to answer. I will compile everything, and then we will present the Waggy Awards next Monday, plus a few games in store. Yes, Ezra and I have a few games in store for you guys, which EVC has no clue about, but he will be part of these games and participate in them. Plus, a few of our guests will play in some of these games too. So yes, hope to see you guys next Monday. Big day next Monday. We got the award show. We're going to have Monday Night Baseball. We're going to have Paul Sporer on in the evening talking about Perfect Team 25. And then the beta version comes out a few hours after that. EVC has no clue. Yeah, EVC is just going to lap. I'll be there. I'll be part of the team. Just tell me what hat to put on at what time. So maybe we should have had a question, a hat question for EVC, an award-winning hat. Maybe every award we present, he has to put on a different hat. We'll figure something out. I'm sure EVC will do something. Quick update on the Laptop Hound Daily. First person in the chat today was Sporer, and his comment was simple. Reigning 5L champion is in the house. Yeah. That's all he put. Something to that effect. So yesterday, Sporer and the Charlotte Dachshunds, for the second time in 3 days, won the 5L. That is amazing. Book ended there. Beachport Blue Hornets also have a win. So Sporer has taken the reins of the leaderboard very quickly on in March. And again, it's going to be a short March because we're only accumulating results up to and including the March 14th result. And at that point, we'll award 15 packs to the person who has the most accumulated points. And we'll do a random draw for 5 packs along for everyone that has a top 4 finish. Your name will go on the wheel and we'll spin it and we'll award 5 packs to a random placer. So yeah, get involved. Last little bit of OOTP 24. And I'm a little bit bummed about Sporer winning yesterday. Not because it's Sporer, but because he's the one that knocked me out after I had a late inning game 6 clinching lead. And then he scores 2 to tie it in the bottom of the 8th. And then I take the lead in the top of the 9th. And then he scores 2 to win it in the bottom of the 9th. So I'm going to start calling him the comeback kid. Congratulations to London Wings. I don't know if they're in the house today, but yesterday London was in the chat and said, Lap, I don't play this often, and I'm in the quarterfinals. And then Lap, I don't play this often, I'm in the semis. Lap, I'm in the finals. And yeah, London Wings finished second. Kind of a tough one for London because Sporer did the same thing as he did to me. London had a 3-2 lead. Sporer comes back and wins game 6 like he did against me. And then in game 7, London has the lead going into the 9th inning. And what does Sporer do? Ties it up and then wins it in the 8th and in the 9th. Comeback kid, Mr. Paul Sporer. Congratulations, Sporer, on your 2 victories so far. The Llamas, the Rangers, the Mayhem, Macad Car. We got Wish Come True 1, 2, 3. The Halos. Yeah, well, at least some different teams in the Final Four. All right. So again, if you haven't entered today's Go, make sure you register. All right. Before we bring our guest in, we are going to do our bounty today. And if you want to get involved and try and defeat me, win 5 packs, all you got to do is enter this one right here. Golden Years 320. Yes. Between myself and my guest, we have, 100 years of experience of life. 100 years. So we are the golden years. We are the epitome of dead ball to golden years. So ID 320, the rules are simple. All your pitchers have to have stuff 70 or lower. All your hitters have to have a BABIP of 70 or higher. If none of them qualify, draft someone anyway and put them on your reserve list. Again, whoever knocks me out in this best of three will win 5 standard packs. Yesterday, it was Famarte that knocked me out in round number 2. So we'll quickly get this done. Let me bring it up on the screen. See if we have any questions. That BABIP's going to be hard and iron. Well, yeah, it will. It will. The Rainiers are in. The Spiders are in. The Rangers are in. Oh, boiled egg. You're streaming FHM. Well, cool. I'm going to have to find out what your channel is and go catch that. Boiled egg. Yeah, we did the trade deadline show. You'll have to catch the VOD at some point. Trade deadline for the NHL is Friday afternoon. We got Not Todd TTC in. Oh, I haven't even checked the park, Ezra. Okay, let's do that now. Let's go check what we're doing here. We might have some undermanned teams. The stuff part should be pretty easy because it's dead ball. So we're getting a lot of the older cards that didn't have a lot of stuff. BABIP, yeah, BABIP might be tricky. Unless you get Mr. McGraw, John McGraw. Although, for 2 categories that we have limits on, these 2 should fit this time period. You should find some good BABIP guys and you should find some low stuff guys. See, my game is glitching out. 9 out of 16. Can't get in. Let me go back to the main menu, try that way. Dead ball to golden years, 9 out of 16. Get in. There's the rules down below. Chance to win 5 free packs, a chance to knock me out. There we go. Where are we playing, Ezra? We're playing in a no DH Yankee Stadium, which favors the home runs for the lefties. Otherwise, it's a pitcher park. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Noodles Hahn, definitely. Again, we're looking at the overall, so you simply have to hover over the player to find out what it is for stuff. For the hitter, you're going to have to kind of look inside the card here for a hitter at the BABIP. Again, we're looking for BABIP 70 or higher. So let's go with Stan the Man. Double check Stan the Man 102. Who was your perfect card? Who was your perfect card? Mine was Stan the Man. Champs 24, the Texas Rangers are in. You can still use that term for about 7 more months. Champs. All right, we're probably not going to find a lot of pitchers that qualify here. So let's go with, I think, Jackie Jensen, BABIP of 74. So that counts. Babe Ruth, the perfect card for Sean Saul. Yep, Babe will play. Pitchers, Rube Waddell, no. I guess we're going to go with Olivier Oliver, 88. No DH, remember, no DH. Robin Roberts qualifies. He has stuff of 57. And Jack Taylor has stuff of 69. He just makes it in. Dead ball to golden years. You need a few key pitchers, but not a ton. So grab your hitters early. Highly recommended you get your hitters early because you may not find hitters in iron. That's the best strategy. Hitters early. Pitchers, you'll have tons of them later on. BABIP of 60, Mel Ott does not qualify. Don Hurst does. He's got 70. And Larry Doyle does not. George Carr. And a little bit of Baby Doll. Baby Doll does. Herman Long does. Okay, let's go Long Doll. Long Doll. Yeah, it's pickable. It's the overall BABIP. So when I go to Sammy String, you see the overall's 87. Doesn't matter if one of the other ones goes under 70, as long as that overall is above 70, 70 or higher. So we will take Sammy String and maybe Roger Brezhnev. Yeah, I think Roger Brezhnev. Oh, by the way, did you guys hear? Spore won the 5L yesterday. Did you hear that? I don't know if you guys heard that yet. Is it breaking news? And Saturday, Spore won the 5L Saturday. The comeback kid beating me in game 6 and 7 and then beating the London Wings in game 6 and 7. All right, Bobby Shantz we can take. We'll take a little bit of Shantz. And I better get a catcher while I can. Catchers might be tough. Lap, take your own advice. Get hitters early because you might not find them later. L. Simmons does not qualify. So I got to take a pitcher. The kid. George Pinky. Yep, he looks like he's good. Oh no, 63 BABIP. Phil, 66. Catchers might be tough. Eddie Joss works 70 on the nose. Oh, Phil Rizzuto. Yes, Phil Rizzuto, 73. Bill Dickey qualified? Well, excellent. I'm glad you got a catcher because I might be in trouble here. Dan McGinn does not qualify. Bostic. Oh, look at that, BABIP. Baby. BABIP. BABIP, baby Bostic. Baby Bostic BABIP. And Enos must have a good BABIP. 72. Good enough. The silver Robin Roberts. So I think I got the gold, didn't I? Yeah, you got the better one. The silver is better than the gold. But I don't mind the gold. Oh, please be eligible. Yes. Chacon. Jerry Pretty eligible? Yes. Jerry Pretty. Better check my Daddy Wags is eligible. Ezra. At least one of us got the Daddy Wags. Who do I take out now? I guess I take out, already got 5 outfielders though, but he's a left fielder. Let's take out my shortstop. Well, Minerva, welcome to the initiation. All of us have had to go through Makadkar at one point in time. Many of us have gone through Makadkar several times and probably have a less than 50% success rate. Catchers, where are my catchers? Ed McFarland. Oh, I think I got a catcher. 74, Ed McFarland. I think we'll go Porta Carrero. John Grimm? Nope. Not taking that Willie McGill. He's burned me way too many times, and I can't take him anyway. Druk can't take. Porta Carrero, McFarland. I guess we go Jackie. Yeah, let's go Jackie. Yep, for the latecomers, there they are, Chess Safari. So you have to draft all hitters with a BABIP of 70 or higher, and all pitchers have to have stuff of 70 or lower. So Bobby Estalella, which is, an okay card. Bobby Estalella, he's okay. He qualifies because his BABIP's over 70, so I'm going to take him. Connie Rector, he's an okay card. He has stuff of 70, so I get to take him. 70 or lower. Ivel Goodman, I can take Ivel Goodman. I got 6 pitchers, 7 pitchers. Ooh, am I going to get robbed for pitchers? No, I'll be able to get pitchers. Shovel. I can take Barney. Are you over 70, Barney? No, you're 59. Frank Chance, you catch, don't you? Your BABIP's not good enough. So I am 1 catcher. I got to get a couple pitchers now. Babe Adams looks good. BABIP under 70. And Jack Sherratt cannot take. Sandy Koufax, no. How about Ken Chase? Yes, I can take Ken Chase. So that gives me 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't need that many pitchers. So let's look for another hitter. Lau, Shanks, Ack Wilson, Monty Ward. I've got no choice. I have to take Shanks. Yep, thanks, D-Block. That's what it is. Stuff 70 or lower, and then hitters BABIP 70 or higher. Well, that worked well. The only thing I was short 1 catcher. So if you were able to get 2 catchers, congratulations. Middle. Long. All right, we are just going to do some quick settings here. Strategy. Dead ball to golden years. Save. Oh, I do have 2 catchers. Ed McFarland can catch. So Ed McFarland, 74 BABIP, and Roger Bresnahan has got 100 BABIP. I am good on catchers. Nice. Pretty or Strang against the lefties? Pretty or Strang? Got to go Pretty. Goodman should be in there against the lefties. Goodman. And Estalella. Nope, I think we're good. I think Marcel stays in. Yeah. All right. Overall, I like this lineup. I'm happy. All right, guys, we're going to be back after the break here. I will bring my guest in and we will get on to the core of the show, talking about our favorite lower level cards that we got to play with this year. Stick around, fine tune your team. Be back in 2 minutes. All right, back here again. Welcome in, guys. Happy Tuesday. And we are going to get on to the main part of the show. Good luck in the bounty for those of you that are entered in the bounty. Let me do a quick check if it's full yet. It is full. So it hasn't fired off yet, but the bounty is full. So we'll find out soon who gets to play me in round one for the chance at 5 packs. Speaking of winning some packs, let me put the link in for the contest form for today. So won't take you too long to fill out. There it is. Give you about 10 minutes or so to fill that out. Predict the cards that D-Block and I are going to have as part of our favorites from Iron and Bronze. Very simple, mainly multiple choice. Go fill that out and good luck. 2 winners of 5 packs each for whoever guesses the most correctly, plus a couple tiebreakers. All right, welcome back to the show. I think for about the 4th or 5th time, becoming a regular on the Tuesday Treasure Trove analysis, and has also been on a couple times earlier in the cycle too. Welcome from Germany, D-Block. Don't cut the D-Block Dragon. How you doing? Oh, your sound or my sound? I don't think I'm muted. How about now? No. Am I still coming through, guys? How's my sound?
Now,
Oh,
do you hear me now?
okay. I can hear D Block. Chat,
All
can you
right.
hear both of us? Give it a second here. A little bit of a lag. All right, good. They can hear both of us now. Okay, good. So, how you doing? Are you having any of those technical glitches over in Germany?
No, somebody must have pushed that button on my switch here for the
Oh,
microphone.
oh, well, you got little gremlins in the system there.
Yeah, little fairies cleaning up my apartment here.
Well, if they're cleaning, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's why they're fairies, not gremlins.
Okay, good. Well, D Block, believe it or not, there are people out there that are maybe new to the game and haven't come across you in on streams yet, because right now you're kind of streaming on Sunday mornings over here in America, later in the day for you. So tell the newer community a little bit about yourself and how you got kind of into this perfect team realm.
Well, I am streaming, like you said, on Sundays. You and Capcom basically got me into this after I was on your stream for a couple of times. That we should start, and I'm concentrating. I started the stream mainly with the cover bet that I was able to get a fresh team and get it to Diamond within 8 weeks, and that's why I started this experiment, and that's how I started the stream. And yeah, it's so much fun. I'm gonna keep doing it. Of course, that bet is long gone. I kind of won it. I did it with two teams. One team did it, one team did not. One team got stuck for 11 weeks in gold. The OOTP playoff jinx is there, really messing with that team. But yeah, the other team got there in 6 weeks. So that's how I started streaming here, and I got into Perfect Team because of one of your YouTube videos on how to start a bronze tournament team.
And yeah, the rest is history, as they
Yeah,
say, because you just kind of taken off and been successful in league play. I guess probably for you, I would imagine the biggest obstacle for you probably was not getting in right in March. Would you say that was probably your biggest obstacle, not reaching that penultimate perfect team level?
yeah. I mean, I had like 9 weeks. I was 9 weeks late getting into Perfect Team, and I never really got over that hump. I would have had to spend a lot of money on for perfect points to get over that, and I didn't want to do that. The only thing I bought was PT Plus, but yeah, I would have had to spend a lot of money to get over that hump. The thing is, like, of course, I'm not better than the best players there, so there's nothing to get gain an advantage there. So basically, I mean, I was in the Diamond World Series like 6 times, and I lost them all. So there was a chance to get a perfect team, but yeah, I didn't meant to be. But that leaves the goal for 25, I guess.
Right. So if you're new to Perfect Team and you're just getting into OOTP24 recently, I know Wiz Nation is one of those newest kind of players that we've come across. That's a key. I mean, get involved right away, get your team started, get into tournaments, sell your duplicates, like just get into the rhythm. Don't wait a month, because if you wait a month, 2 months, you do, fall behind. Not that it's impossible, but it does make it a little bit tougher to catch up. You always feel like you're trying to catch up with the newer cards. Well, we do have the schedule here for the bounty. We got the Cleveland Spiders. They're going to take on those Bowlers by K. Carlton Lassiter. We got the Hoosman and the Dodgers taking on our very own Don't Cut the D-Block Dragons Dick Shot. Washington Park Rangers are taking on the Pops Dongoria run Wood Ducks. And the Foothillers, run by Grossmont _ Foothillers, They're taking on Lord Christic 33. On the other side, we have the Roma Cubs, run by Alex MCM. They're taking on Music Lessons, Llamas. Fussmuckers, guys named Todd, taking on the Sox, run by Duster 75. That was the one team that entered before any of us, so they probably will not be compliant. So Fussmucker, take care of the Sox. We've got Ezra Denny taking on Hero Driver and his championship Texas Rangers. And finally, we got the two streamers going head to head. Well, two of the streamers. We got EVC going up against my Super 7 All-Stars. And as I like to do, just checking out the first team to make
check
sure
that evil one. He's probably not compliant.
That's right. We got to check. What's the name of his team again? Franchise was gone. Okay. He's got so many teams. I can't remember them all. Ricky and so-and-so and Dodgers and Banshees. And he's just got so many teams. Okay. Is he compliant? What's it got to be? Stuff under 70, 70 or under. He's good. And for his hitters, pitching lineups. What does it say? BABIP 70 or higher. Okay. Yeah, my franchise is gone, is compliant. And just to check the next two teams in case I face one of them, the Rangers and the Red Shirts. The Rangers, BABIP, they just have to bench Fielder Jones. So Fielder Jones is not eligible. And the Red Shirts, well, that's a pitcher, so that doesn't matter. So Ezra's good with hitters, and Hero Ranger or Hero Driver has one guy to bench for batters. For pitchers, Ezra, we're looking at stuff. That's not pitchers. There's pitchers. Good. And Hero Driver is good. Okay. So of the first four teams that we come across, or I come across, just that one player that has to be fixed. Jones is on the reserve. Yep. As long as you moved him over to the reserve, he won't play. Excellent. Just make sure you've double checked your team after it booted up, because sometimes it doesn't save if you made that change before it kickstarted. So I'd go in right now and just double check. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about why. I mean, you did mention that you caught my YouTube video about the bronze tournament. Was that for you kind of what kickstarted you playing the lower level tournaments, or was there something else that kind of got you more involved in those rather than the higher level ones?
No, of course, that was that video. I mean, I didn't have any basically any blueprint for the other ones. So I started with bronze, and I stuck with it. And I had to say that I still had the most fun with iron and bronze, and that's why I stuck with it.
All right, and we'll see kind of your progress, D Block, because you said you started late May when you started getting into it?
Yeah, but I didn't. If you look at the tournament rankings, that was even later, because I did not get the grasp of PTCS and how to qualify and all that. I basically only did quicks until I think June.
Oh, okay.
June, July. I don't think
take
I'm
a look.
going to be in there.
We'll go through a few months here and kind of see where you started to make kind of your move in the leaderboard here. So right now we're in the first week of June. Let's go to the end of June. Again, D Dempsey, there's Laptop Pound. We don't see the D Block emerging yet. Griffs has been there. Griffs is one of the best bronze players. He's been there the entire cycle. We get into July, and not quite yet. So it was a little bit later than I thought that you started to get into these tournaments here. Nope. Let's try the end of July.
I think my first PTCS was PTCS 5.
PTCS 5. So that would be August. Oh, so into August. All right. So let's go check out August. Nothing there for D block yet. Must be getting close though. End of August. Oh, man. See, that's time is just it's so weird because I would have thought,
Yeah.
oh yeah, June, July, he's probably up there. There I am.
Type in the filter. Type in OZE. I think
It's O's Bones.
Yeah,
There he
yeah.
is. There's O's Bones, the Wichita Eagles in the top 20 starting in September. So let's just go back 1 week and see if you're there at the end of August. No, so yeah, I don't see you there. Oh, there you are, 47. So yeah, late September, late August, early September is kind of when you start to make your move. And then as we get, into November, O's Bones and your teams are probably somewhere on here. Maybe that was just a bad week. Trust me, when you're looking up the rankings, there we go. D block right there, number 9. I know you got a couple teams, O's Bones there at 24. So that's with bronze. And then iron, when did you get started with iron? Around the same time?
About the same time, I guess.
About the same time. So if we go into September, and what team would that be that plays
That
the
would
iron?
be probably more the Weasel News. So a D block.
Okay.
There
We
you
got
go.
the Cavabat Iron there, Weasel News. Yeah. So once we get into October, then you start to dominate in iron. And when we look at the PTCS, you said you think the first one you made was in number 5?
I think so.
Yep. You were 43rd, making number 5. And you've made everyone since that point, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone since. And in our last one here, O's Bones is right there, Cavabat Iron number 17. So yeah, you've had a lot of success in iron. They still up till February 25th even have kept track, even though the PTCS qualifying is done. It looks like they've kept the weekly track right up until
number 20 there.
Yep, number 20. And again, with the PTCS, for those of you that have no clue what that's about, it may change next year. We don't know what the format's going to look like. But this year, it was the top 128 teams over about a 5 to 6 week period based on the dailies that you played, not the quick tournaments, but the dailies. You accumulated points based on your position of finish. And then the top 128 point getters all got to play in this special tournament known as the PTCS. Yeah.
Look, Minerva is ahead of me. Look at that.
Yeah. Again, Minerva is one of those.
Minerva.
It's funny how, you passed me, Minerva passed you. We got to find out who passes Minerva then. Just keeps getting, we're teaching better and better as we go through this year. What about the other tournaments? Which other ones did you kind of have fond memories of?
I did qualify for silver and for gold.
So silver and gold you were playing as well?
Yeah. But I didn't do this is February. No, I didn't play in the late ones. Okay. I just made sure I qualified for the last one, and I haven't played since.
Okay.
Yeah. There's number 9. That's my D block Bone Bruisers.
And 10.
And 10. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce that number 9?
Hedgepai.
What does that mean?
Yokel.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, no, I've never come across that before. All right, well, and you're still playing tournaments, right? I'm still playing tournaments, and of course, we had a little bit of fun because anytime we play each other in a tournament, we kind of DM each other, especially if it's a bigger tournament. And D Block DM'd me on Sunday night, I think it was, and he said, "Have you checked out the iron, the
pumping iron?" Yeah.
And my game just crashed, so let me restart it there. Give me a sec. It's the third time it's crashed today. Okay, let me log in. And explain a little bit about what the pumping iron is as I get this
That's a
set up.
weekly, so that's one of those few things where we can get the perfect choice packs. So, which are of course very, very important for league play if you want to go to perfect league or compete in perfect league, or very good for making perfect points.
Right. So the weeklies are usually 128 teams or more, and the dailies are usually 64 teams or more. And any tournament that has 128 teams or more, you can play for a perfect choice pack. The ones that are 64, it's a high diamond choice pack. So we see a lot of, teams competing in the weeklies now because they want to try and win the better card. Okay. Let's see if we can figure this out now. Showing? No. Let's go there. Yeah, there are a lot of tech glitches around the world today. Let's see if we can get this going. So pumping iron on Sunday. And again, both of us kind of pride ourselves a little bit on the bronze and irons tournament. And the 5L, I think you and I would agree that that is the toughest tournament right now to win. So when
maybe the toughest, but the most fun, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think toughest in terms of maybe a non-weekly, like a daily. It's one of the tougher dailies for sure.
Definitely. I mean, the competition is really good. There are some really, really good teams in there, really good managers, and even managers that are not doing big time spamming of tournaments normally, kind of like Ezra, and he's usually doing very well. He has kind of like his Final Four block, but it's very seldom that he does not get into round 3 or 4.
Right. So this Sunday pumping iron is a best of 3, and it goes for 5-7 rounds for you to have to win it. And yeah, I just had a really good run. As you can see, 3-0 against the Great Blank, 3-0 against the Fanatics, 3-1 against the Smelters, 3-1 against Leo Remus and his Holiday theme team. And then I came across D-Block in the quarterfinals and had some success there. And so he DM'd me about that. And then he said, Lap, you also played me in the semifinals and had some success against him there, 3-0. And then finally came up against Leo Remus again. So I played Leo twice and D-Block twice and somehow swept them 4 times. And believe me, that's not easy to do, those guys. They're really tough competitors. So yeah, 1, 2, 3 losses in the whole tournament. That's might have been the best I've ever done. And as D-Block said, this is competitive because you're getting a lot of the top managers trying to get that perfect pack. So yeah, it was just it was a fun tournament. I didn't even check it. I didn't do any micromanaging. First I heard about it was when D-Block told me that night. So weeklies, if you're new to the game, that's where you can win some of the best tournament cards. Wow. I know Kava usually enters this one too. So I thought, you know what? Let's go check out what we got in that perfect, and you guys can help me pick. Now, this is my theme team account, and none of these cards I don't think played with Dave Steeb in an all-star game. But this is the last week for theme teams. After this week, it's going normal. It's basically whatever card you want in because theme teams end after Sunday. So here we have the choice pack. There it is. Have you ever won a perfect this year in a tournament?
Yeah.
You have? Okay. What do we got? I'm going to leave it up here. We're going to take our break. When we come back, we'll pick our card, and then we'll start going through our favorite iron and bronze cards. You got about 5 minutes to fill that form out that's pinned in the chat. Fill it out now. Back in 5 minutes. 2 minutes. Whatever. We'll be back at some point. All right, we're back, and what's the best move here? Again, theme team. Since it's ending this week, I'm not concerned. The only player on here that played with Dave Stieb as a teammate was Ken Griffey Jr., and I already own this card. He's already on my team. So obviously the play is, if I just want to keep my team going in the regular format, probably either Semien or Rivera. I don't know. Semien, Rivera, Collins, and Posey, I think, are pretty good. What's your advice here, D Block?
Well, one of them is, I think, clearly the best card, and that's Rivera. But he's a reliever, so I'm not sure how your team looks. Reliever is always the problem. It's very nice to have him, not to blow a lead, but you have to get the lead first. So,
So this is what it's looking like now. These are all Dave Stieb teammates, so nothing really, really high end.
Yeah, he would be, of course, clearly the best reliever there.
Yeah.
But there's, of course, the Whitey Ford. I like that card a lot. I'm not sure. I think the certain people did not rate it that high. But that Whitey Ford is I like that card a lot. And then you have the two second basemen, Collins and Semien. I personally like the Collins better than the Semien. And then you have the Buster Posey, but I like the Mower better than the Posey, personally.
Yeah.
So
Caged Wisdom's agreeing with the four cards you just mentioned: Semien, Posey, Collins. So right now I'm in a silver league. This is the last week for theme team. So, either Collins or Semien would upgrade for sure my second baseman. Posey by far would upgrade my catching.
Yeah, but with the catching, I mean, there are pretty cheap catchers out there that would upgrade that if you don't look at the theme team thingy there anymore. I think I wouldn't entertain Buster Posey here as a choice, really.
Or I just sell Rivera for like all 77777. Someone's probably going to buy it, and I buy 3 or 4 off the card shop that upgrade several positions.
That would be a choice too, of course. That would be the choice if you don't want to play one of those. If you don't really care about this team in the later runs, in when nobody's really playing, or only the hardcore freaks play in 24 anymore.
Yeah. And then Cage says, but if I want to make perfect team, I'm going to need these better players. So why not keep one now? And I think
the price is not going to go down. It's rather going to go up in the future because there aren't a lot of packs be pulled there and opened, and those cards will not be pulled a lot there. So the price is only going to go up and not down.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I think you if you want to go bat, I think it's between Collins or Semien, and my choice would be Collins there. If it's going to be between pitcher, it's going to be between Rivera and Whitey Ford. And I think even though Rivera is clearly the best closer, I think the Ford will help you more.
Yeah. And again, I probably won't be hard, trying to compete in this. I'll once in a while check in on it and maybe open whatever packs I have. The thing is too, I don't know when the new game comes out, if these perfect packs are still going to be there, because usually they cut down the tournaments. I mean, you're new to this because it's your first year.
Yeah.
But usually when the new game comes in, what they do is they take a 128 team tournament and cut it to 64. And all the 64s they cut to 32. And if they keep these same prizes there, then there's still going to be opportunity to win these cards 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the road.
I think, especially since there's going to be a lot of chances for us to win those perfect choice packs.
Yeah. All right. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take the Rivera, which is the highest valued card right now. I'm going to submit that. And if he doesn't sell, then great. I've got a very high-end reliever for if I do make it up to perfect. but I think I'm going to put him on the card shop just for a, if you want it, you're going to have to pay for it kind of price. So I think, I'm going to put it up for like 84444, like 844,000. And if someone wants it, hey, great. And I got some perfect points to spend. If not, then I don't mind keeping them. So we'll put them up. See if I can make my biggest sell of the cycle, because that would be my biggest sell of the cycle. Okay, well, that's kind of fun. So that was the Pumping Iron Sunday version, best of 3. And I was able to make my way there with only 3 losses, which was just, wow, can't believe it. Okay, let's go close off the form because we don't want people entering after we talk about cards. And are you good for time for a while, D-Block? How are you for time?
I have nothing to do with. Oh, nothing else to do.
Okay, good. Just always want to double check here. All right, let's bring this in. And where is it? Right here. Okay, I've only got 15 entries so far, so I did pin it in the chat there a little bit earlier on. One more time, we'll give it, just 1 minute. You're going to have to speed through this if you want to fill it out now. There it is. Make sure I got the right one and not giving you the other one here. Link. So I asked D-Block, I said, let me know your favorite 26 players in iron, favorite 26 in bronze. And I said, try to come up with 14 hitters and 12 pitchers. Now, that's a wide range of criteria. What for you makes a favorite player? How did you define that when you were picking your cards?
Well, mainly on the times I've played the card. So that, of course, meant that one of the newer cards, some of the newer cards did not make it, even though they're better cards. But you always have to think, you always have to put that into relation of the time when the card came out. I mean, of course, if you take the Adalberto Mondesi card, who is basically the best shortstop and the best second baseman right now in iron, if he's that right now, if he would have come out with the same stats in June, I mean, of course he would have been there, but I think the time was just too short for some cards like that to be in my list there. So it's basically an oldie but goldie lineup that I choose, and there are some cards in there that are still relevant today. But there are some of them are actually day one cards. So so
okay.
don't expect any of the real new ones to be in there.
All right. And for me, my criteria was the cards that were memorable. They stood out, whether they were their long-term, short-term, but they just really stood out for me for at least a period of time. And I had fun with, and I'm always looking for in drafts, perfect drafts. That was kind of my criteria. Okay, closing off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 5 seconds for any kind of delay we might have. Anyone in chat still filling it out? Got to get it done quick. 19 entries. Okay, we are closing it off now. Okay, 19 entries is what we're going to go with. So the questions I asked D-Block is, which iron pitcher do D-Block and I both have as one of our favorite pitchers? Because, yeah, we had a lot of differences. Which bronze pitcher do we both have as a favorite? Which iron hitter do we both have as a favorite? And then which bronze hitter do we both have as a favorite? Brock Holt seems to be the consensus there. Which iron hitter do I have that you don't have? Which iron pitcher do you have that I don't have? And then which player do neither of us have as one of our favorite players of the year. And then a couple tiebreakers. What is the overall pitcher BABIP on the last card we show, which will be a bronze pitcher? And second tiebreaker, that same card, same pitcher, what is the overall control? Okay, let's get to this. All right, I'm excited to show off our favorite cards and cards we look for in the 5L and cards we played a lot. Welcome to our salute, 14 hitters and 12 pitchers. Let's start with iron first. Do you think Johnny Dickshot's going to be there for D-Block? Do you think he might be there?
I was very, very surprised that some guys put in there that Dickshot is not going to be there for both of us.
Oh, okay.
That was I had like over 10%. I mean, that was a big surprise to me because how can I not have Johnny Dickshot in there?
Yeah, well, now I'm curious. Now I got to go and check that quickly here. Where is that? So that was question number.
Which card we neither of us have? Which bronze card we neither of us have?
Yeah.
See, there's 10% for Johnny Dickshot.
Dink Mothel, Johnny Dickshot, Woody Held, or Pete Lecoq. And consensus went for Woody Held and then Pete Lecoq. Okay, well,
I mean, I even have a theme team named after Johnny Dickshot.
I think D-Block's trying to tell you he probably has Johnny Dickshot as part of his favorite.
I'm sorry, you guys.
Okay, Bluester, Blutester. Okay, I'll recognize that. It should be 1959 for your name. Okay, good. Well, here we're going to go through, first of all, the iron batters that we both chose for our 26-man roster, 14 hitters, 12 pitchers, and both of us chose Hank Severid. I'll go quickly first on this one. For me, it was just more so stable, long-term backup. How about for you?
Exactly the same, but in the way of I used him. We'll see that when we look at the other catcher. I used him a lot as a defensive sub there. And I really think, I mean, this is an awesome iron catcher card, especially from where he came out into the card pool. If it hadn't been for Mathis, this probably would have been the most used catcher, probably.
All right. And chat, let us know if you use these cards. If you played a lot of the lower levels or played bronze quicks, iron quicks tournaments, let us know if these cards would be part of your top, group of cards too. So Hank Severid, old, reliable, was in the game for a long time, and you could count on him for that defensive sub. So he is both part of our top 26 list. Next up, gotta be day one card. You start on this one, Dave Kingman.
Yeah, I mean, come on, the day one card, and I mean, he's still. I wouldn't play him, but he's still viable. If you want to have that power eye at third or first base, or at DH, he's still there. He still has one of the biggest power in the iron realm, and his eye is still okay. He's gonna give you home runs or nothing else, but he can still lift you to a tournament title. And for day one card, he is one of the cards, I think, regardless of iron, or regardless of form, one of the cards of OOTP24.
Yeah. When we look back on previous versions, certain cards stand out for people. And for me, for OOTP24, Dave Kingman will stand out. I do kind of remember his legacy as a big home run guy. For me, it was always the defense for a lower level card early in the game. You were getting that solid third base, first base. And not only did he have power, but he had at least a little bit of eye to go with that power. So Dave Kingman, how many of you guys got excited with Dave Kingman? Music lessons did. Anytime he gets Dave Kingman in the iron rounds, he takes them. Yeah, as D-Block said, still a useful card that, man, 300 days old, this card, and still can play. So Dave Kingman, part of both of our lineups. Next, another first baseman, Matt Olson. When you look at Kingman, he's kind of a very similar build. He's got mostly power, then he's got eye, but his gap power, his pitcher BABIP, and avoid Ks are kind of lower, just like Kingman. And defense, worse than Kingman. So why Matt Olson? Why did you use him quite a bit?
Well, Matt Olson was, first of all, since we did not have, especially once Matt Olson came out, we basically did not have left-handed pitchers. So you only have to look at the right-handers there. And there, actually, his contact isn't that bad. His BABIP is, of course, it's not good, but he can still give you a good batting average combined with that eye, a pretty good on-base percentage, and that power. He was basically kind of like an upgrade to Kingman, and for me, regarded Kingman to the third base only. And the other thing there is, once I had my defense's schmefense approach, I actually played Olsen at times at right field.
Because I know you're one of these believers, as with myself, that the lower you go in leagues or in cards,
the more important the bat is, and not the defense.
Right. Yeah. And this card came out probably about midway through the cycle.
In summer,
and, yeah. And it came out a point where we started to see Spore create platoon type of players, whereas earlier on, they were kind of balanced for the most part. Now we're starting to see platoon cards come out. And so, like you said, right-handed pitchers, he's going to fit in there nicely. If we saw a lot of lefties to start with, maybe he doesn't make our top 26 list, but good card and makes both of our lists. Next up, I'm kind of surprised you had this one. I didn't know because you came in later into the game and he was more of an early kind of play. But he did last for a while. Like he did last into the summertime and maybe even into the early fall. Cabrera. What do you like about him to make him part of your top 26?
He was my perfect backup. He was my Brock Holt before Brock Holt, kind of like in the infield. I used him a lot as a backup, with him being able to play second base and shortstop, and of course third base. But I mainly played him second base and shortstop as a backup there. And he, with his eye and a decent BABIP against the righties, again, there are not a lot of lefty pitchers there. He can give you a good batting average and a good OBP with that good infield range and the speed on the bases. So to me, I played him for a short while as a starter, but most of the time, and until now, I played him as a backup. And sometimes even in caps as a backup, if I can afford those 6 points.
What I liked about him, why he made my list, is, as you're making your roster, you get your starters, and then you got 1 or 2 slots left. And for me, he was that guy that, okay, he's got some use because he plays more in one position. Like you said, backup. We see a lot of right-handed pitchers, so he kind of fit that good utility guy for that period in the game where we needed him. So Everth Cabrera probably wouldn't make many teams now, but right up until PTCS 7, 8 teams were still using him
until the Hairston card came out. I think the Jerry Hairston Jr. card basically took his spot as somebody you could start at some points, but is because of his utility is more useful as a backup for various positions. And until that card came out, it was my backup card was Cabrera, and then it was the Hairston, and Cabrera basically faded away a little bit. But
Okay, so another card both of us had in our top 26. Next up, I think everyone. Again, I think this might have been a day one card, or at least very, very early. Ryan Schimpf. Here's that example of we didn't get a lot of splitty cards early in the game, and this one is not overly splitty. Is it the eye? Is it simply the eye that did it for you?
Yeah, the power and the get power. So I mean, there weren't a lot of good second basemen in Iron for a long time. Basically the only thing, you either had defense or you had a bat, one of those things. And he was the only guy who was kind of like in between with a great bat and a little bit of defense. I mean, the defense wasn't great, but still. And he could play third base, so you could play Kingman at first and Schimpf at third. But the defense didn't really matter that much for a long time. So, he was one of the good power guys that with that eye give you a good OBP and have a lot of power. He was a very good card for me.
Yeah,
and I still sometimes played him. I mean, with that power and that eye, it's still not. Was it that one PTCS? I did play him there. I mean, actually.
And that's what we saw again with a lot of early irons is such a discrepancy. And again, you have to remember that if you don't have this discrepancy, it's not an iron anymore. It's a bronze or it's a silver if you boost that BABIP or avoid K. So you're going to have a few cards that are extremes in some of these areas. Another one we both had as our favorites. This one came out later. I'm thinking around the summertime when this one came out, where we start to see different builds now. We start to see platoon builds. We start to see better positional players against the lefty pitchers. And we start to see cards that have lower I as well, and then boosted defense. So here's one here, Albert Almora Jr., arguably for a period of time, the best, the go-to center fielder.
To me, it's still the best iron center fielder.
Still the best? I can't remember if I still use him or if I went to a multi-positional guy, because I like the players that can play more than one position. I might have him. I can't remember. I'll have to check that later on if I used him in the pumping iron or not. But yeah,
at least really he's better than that Odiba card.
Better than which one?
That Odiba.
Odabe. Yeah. You don't like that Odabe McDowell card. I remember that.
But I don't like that card. That card is better.
Or better, yeah. I want to take a look here quick. I mean, we both had them. We both used them quite a bit because we had them both as our top teams. I'm just going to my pumping iron. I want to check. You remember, was pumping iron, were there any restrictions on that one in terms of cards?
No, the pumping iron is still normal.
Okay. Let's check that out, what I had. Am I still using them? Well, there you go. I am. Yep. It was part of that winning pumping iron team and hit 329 in that tournament. So, yeah. And Jimmy Ryan, I still have as on my team too, as part of that team. I'm sure we'll talk about him a little bit later too.
Very sure that we're going to talk about him. Yeah.
Okay. So Albert Almora Jr., one of the best cards in iron for the cycle. Last, I mean, as D-Block said, still there. And unless they come out with some new cards very shortly, he'll always be there as the best center fielder. Another one, maybe one that slipped through the radar of some people because he wasn't really good at one thing. He was just good at, he wasn't excellent at one thing. He was good at many things, especially as your utility guy. Is that why you like Santangelo?
No, he was the center fielder before Almora.
Oh, your center fielder before Almora. Okay.
Yeah. And with that utility that he has, I mean, you don't play him at second and third. The bat is just way too bad for that, and he's not going to replace a Kingman or a Schimpf for no chance about that. But with the especially early, I thought we had a very, very few outfielders in Iron that were really good. You had sometimes you had like players that had power but nothing else, and you didn't have any Kingman types. So maybe you played Adam Dunn even at left field there, and at this time when that Almora card came out, I actually moved a lot of times that FP card on the corners, sometimes only as a defensive replacement because he is that good, of course, on the defense, but or only as a backup. But sometimes, I mean, he's not going to give you too much except walks. But that defense is pretty good, and that was, of course, a time when I still really cared about that defense. But
Was he
as a backup? As a backup, he was still usable later in the game.
Do you remember when this card came out? Was it like
it must have been very early? I mean, this it must have been. It was there when I started.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it came out early. I just don't know if it was a day one release, but it was. If it wasn't day one, it was very soon.
Very probably. Maybe we started both at the same time in May.
Yeah, and it lasted for a long time. Some people still use this card as a backup, and in the PTCS, I used to see teams use this card quite a bit too. So, FP Santangelo on both of our all-time Iron rosters for 2024. Another card that is maybe like an infield version of Santangelo, because he can play second, third, but he can also play the outfield. Got the good eye, some pitcher BABIP. He just got a little bit of everything except power. What do you like about Frio?
Yeah, his utility, of course. He was. I played him a lot in the outfield, and I played him as backup. If I didn't play the Cabrera card, I played him as a backup there.
Yeah, like you said, we didn't have a lot of outfield cards at the beginning. So for me, he played left field usually. Santangelo and Frio were kind of my two.
If you look at the if the Santangelo card and the Frio card, I think the better card is the Santangelo card in the outfield, in the corner outfield.
Range 76. Yeah, I think. I
mean, they're very close, but I mean, the eye is of course better for Frio, but
I'd still like Santangelo at center and Frio at left.
Yeah, that's why I've played Frio in right and Adam Dunn in left a lot.
Okay.
So.
All right, and our final card in Iron that both of us absolutely loved for the year,
of course,
is this one. In fact, my number one Iron card for the entire cycle, Jimmy Ryan. And not for his pitching, although in a pinch, if you were short a pitcher, you throw him in long relief, avoid high leverage.
Yeah, mop up. That's one of his roles. I always put him as mop up.
When you look at his batting ratings, and I wonder when this card is generated, is it generated a 59 based on his pitching ratings because he is listed as a pitcher, and because he had the higher batting ratings, he'd be a bronze if they included that? I'm not sure how that works. If Spore's in the chat, if he was rated as a batter, I don't think he'd be an Iron anymore. He's just too good.
I don't think so.
But then
with his pitching, he's not a 59. He's a 46 or something like that.
Yeah. So I wonder, is it amalgamation? Is it an average of the batting and hitting when they come up with an overall rating? Because right from day one, he lasted, and I still use him on my Pumping Iron team and many other teams. He is my favorite Iron card. It's just nothing. You can't ask for more than a Jimmy Ryan from the beginning of the game. What do you got to add to that?
Nothing more. except for I said that my favorite iron card was the Kingman, but the Jimmy Ryan is pretty close, and I think he's today more usable as the Kingman in tournaments that have a DH slot. Then he's more usable as the Kingman, but it's a tough call for me between Kingman and Jimmy Ryan. Both are basically the cards in iron that you get that lasted the whole cycle, basically.
And like you said, he's more of a DH. Early on, I did use him in the outfield because, again, we didn't have outstanding outfielders, so he was forced to play outfield. I think he can play left and right. Yeah, he's qualified to, so he could in a tournament play left and right. And
I mean, the outfield range of 73 isn't that bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's center field's the only one they kind of list him as, but he's eligible, so he wouldn't have those ratings, I don't think, in left and right. I don't know how that works, but Jimmy Ryan, my favorite iron card, one of D-Block's favorite iron card. So there you have it, the cards we have in common for iron that both of us had as our top 26: Hank Severid, Dave Kingman, Matt Olson, Everett Cabrera, Ryan Schimpf, Albert Amora Jr., FP, Santangelo, Ryan Frio, and Jimmy Ryan. Well, let's go with the cards that I had, and then a card that you had. So we'll go through them quickly. And at the end of this, D-Block, I want to know who your 27th man is. If you could add one more, maybe from the cards I picked, you can pick one of those or someone else. But yes, chat, D-Block did not have Jeff Mathis, and he'll explain why in a bit. He did not have Jeff Mathis as one of his top 26 cards in iron. One of the rare individuals that would not do that. I did. I paid up for him when he came out. I think I paid like 50,000 perfect points for him because I like to get guys in my tournament rosters as soon as I can. And at that time, best catcher ability by far in iron. Well, I guess Severid, we talked about earlier, has a 96. Mathis with a 105. Yeah, you can't talk me out of it, but give your reasoning why Jeff isn't part of your list.
Well, maybe you show the one that I chose for that instead of. And that is second baseman Heini Peitz.
There he is.
Yes. And mainly that was because I just refused to pay $50K for an iron catcher. I didn't have those points, and I really refused to save up $50K for an iron catcher. And I did see I rocked this, and I rocked this stream, and he showed his model. And I played the Matheny card there. I played the Severide card there instead of Mathis, and I had some success there. And I rocked this. In his model had Heini Peitz, who I've never heard of before, there as second best catcher because of the bet. And he, like I said, he's listed as a second baseman. And I tried him out, and I actually never looked back. I did get Mathis at some point, but for me, I still, and with that one PTCS, I still played Heini Peitz as my catcher. Not Mathis wasn't qualified there anyway, but I played Heini Peitz there in the PTCS, and that bat is kind of like the Jimmy Ryan bat, except the power. And for iron, that was a very, very nice bat.
So it makes sense. Again, one of those maybe hidden gems that a lot of people don't realize. Ollie North is saying, with a Jimmy Ryan, he didn't realize, because you see pitcher, and when you open up and look at the ratings, it shows the pitching ratings. And there's a few cards like that where they're better as a two-way player with the other side of it. And sometimes, just like the base game, brings in Tip O'Neill as a pitcher, and you look at him as a pitcher and he's horrible, so you don't take him, but you don't check out his batting as one of the best batters ever. And Heine, I think, kind of snuck by a lot of people. So if you see him in the five,
he's a second baseman, but he's horrible at second base.
Yeah. So if you see him in a draft and you need a second catcher,
he's very good at first base, except the power. If you say first base has to have power, but if you just look at the card, he's pretty good at first base, and he can play catcher. And I always had him get the lead with Pites and then get Severide in, and as a defensive replacement, which of course meant that the endurance wasn't that big a factor. I really played Pites a lot, whereas with Mathis, basically every fourth game you need your backup catcher because he's tired. With Pites, I could play him for basically a whole series. Then at the beginning of the next series, he would have a day off, and then for the next, then play the rest of the series. And so I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't miss that bat really during the times of my tournaments.
I'm curious, D Block. Now that you've been through it once, and you're going to start from the beginning, if a card like Jeff Mathis comes out again, and he's 50,000, and he's going to dramatically improve your team, are you going to try and do what you can to get him at a high price? Or are you still kind of thinking, no, it's not worth it?
For tournaments, I'm not going to try to get him. If I have the option, if I have an offensive option like I have with Pites, I'm not going to get him.
Okay.
I mean, Mathis is a little underrated for his offense. I mean, I always say that he's a black hole, but he's not. He's actually not that bad offensively. If you compare to the other catchers, especially to the other defensive catchers, he's not that bad actually. But compared to Heine Pites, he is bad. And the offense I get for Pites, I think the minus I get for Pites with playing at catcher, the minus I get for the defense is offset by the plus I get from the offense, and I think that plus is higher than the plus I get from Mathis. And that was my belief, that was my thinking, and I'm going to stick with that in 25. If there's somebody who is bad at defense but gives me the same with the Hero card, basically. If somebody's really, really good at offense, gives me a lot of plus in offense, and gives me a lot of minus at defense, that gives me basically a number. And if that number is higher than the number for the real good defensive guy, with a bad defense and good offense, bad offense and good defense, then I'm always going to play the offensive guy, because defense prevents, but I need points. That's the reason for the game. Score points.
All right, so there is our first player that we had different. I had Mathis, and D Block had Pites. Next up, I had Alberto Mondesi. Now, I know your reasoning. He came out later in the game, so you didn't, get to play him a lot or have that experience with him. But for me, part of my list, part of my criteria is they made an impact, whether it was short or long term. And for me, Mondesi, for a good couple months, did make an impact for my Iron teams, my PTCS, either at second base or shortstop, wherever you want to use them. So, he for me is one of my must-haves as my 26. For you, Adam Dunn. So Dunn was not on my list, but he was on your list. Just again, your reasoning, just power eye, long-term use at first base, DH.
First place DH and left field.
And left field. Yeah. I did use Dunn. I'm not going to lie. I did use Dunn, but I don't know. He didn't stand out for me as, oh man, got to get that Dunn card. Got to get that Dunn card.
It was more the usage. It was more the usage for me. And I really thought about that Mondesi card, because it was such a good card. What gave it to the minus for me was the Bones Eli card.
Oh,
There was that I moved Bonesy off from second base from the shortstop to second base, or if I played him at shortstop, that I played him in a platoon with Bones Eli against the lefties. So that was basically the reasoning for me to keep him off.
yeah, that makes sense. And Dunn came out at a time where, Lou came out very early in the game too. And so he was kind of a go-to first baseman for a lot of people. Now, maybe not so much an iron, but yeah, there's always seems to be a lot of first basemen. Dave Kingman can play first. And yeah, so let's go on to the next one. Speaking of Lou, he does make my top list as an iron card. Platooned him, used him against the right-handed pitchers, which there were more of in the game. Again, just a very solid build right there. And you had not necessarily the same position, but I had Lou, and one of yours was Bud Harrelson, who I never really used. I don't know if he was part of any of my tournament builds, and he's been out for a while.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see that he's Baseball Reference too, so that's basically tells you when he came out.
Yeah,
it was in the summer, and I thought he was, for a long time, I thought he was the most useful shortstop. There were shortstops who had better defense, but none of them had that offense, especially against the righties.
Yeah. See, for me, I used Hetch against lefties. I can't remember who I used against righties earlier on, but he might be a good platoon, like with that Hetch card. But then I think for me, I hate cards. Not that I hate, but I don't like to use cards that are not only splitty, but splitty in different areas, if you know what I mean. Like he's better against righties here, but better against the lefties here. I just don't want any of that.
He's kind of like an upside down platoon.
Yeah. It's like, are you better against lefties or right? Where do I use you? And no, make it simple for me. Just give me split one way or the other. But interesting choice there, that he did make an impact for you to keep him as part of your top 26.
Yeah, I played him really a lot, and I played him both ways, mainly because of that.
Oh, okay. And Cub fan Steve said that he used it as used Bud as well early on. Thank you, Cubs fan Steve. 17 months as part of the Dog Pound here. Thank you for re-upping your subscription there. Again, D-Block with me today. We're going through our favorite iron and bronze cards. Next, I had him, you didn't. Again, a new card comparative to the whole cycle. Very good against the lefties, and a guy that stayed in my lineup and probably is still part of my lineup against the lefties. Maybe for you, it's that timing again, not long enough in the game.
Timing, and that he's a platoon card. He's you can play him both ways. It's not that you can't, but there are so many other cards that are better against righties. The DeLon card, for example, in left field. I would rather play him, of course, against the righties, and Willetts, he's a great card, but he never really got a starting job for me. And so, if he didn't even get a starting job for me, how can I put you in there? He's a great card, but yeah.
And for you, you had him. I didn't have him. I did use the Jake Lamb card. I used him, fair bit against the right-handed pitchers, but again, just didn't make enough of an impact. He'd be kind of in my 30 to 35 probably list, but not top 26. Tell me about Jake Lamb.
Yeah, I loved it. He basically he replaced Kingman for me at third base. And the reasoning is just Kingman just gives me. I was just tired of the Kingman only giving me 2 home runs and a 115 batting average.
Yeah.
It was like in 2 tournaments he won the tournament for me, and the other tournaments he lost the tournament actually for me because he was just such a black hole, and I just wanted to get away from him. And that's why I used the Jake Lamb there. I used him first at first base a little bit there, but and the Olsen, that's when I used the Olsen at right field. But then the Clemente came out, and I didn't want to. Of course, I wanted to play the Clemente there, so I moved Olsen back at first base and Jake Lamb then at third base. And that was the time that I basically got rid of Dave Kingman, and he was just much more a consistent player. He wouldn't have those extreme highs you could get with Kingman, but so the ceiling wasn't as high, but the floor was just so much higher. If he had a bad tournament, he would still be better than 50% of the Kingman tournaments. So
yeah. Oh, very good card, very useful card for a long time. He's not part of my meta anymore. I think he just recently dropped off my meta. More of a DH, I think, than anything now. And it all depends on how much do you value third base defense if you're playing there. Because, of course, we got the two camps about defense at third base. But, yeah, very useful card, especially against the righties. Next up, I had the pocket knife, as you talk about, the all-purpose player. Every single position, catcher all the way up to right field. This guy can play plug and play wherever you want him. Substitute many positions. So again, not the entire cycle, not even half the cycle. He came in maybe 3/4 of the way through, but I just love this card. I always take him just because I know he can back up anywhere. He doesn't start for me anywhere, but he backs up many positions. Shane Halter. He's probably high up there for you, but because he's a backup, he's probably not making your top list.
Yeah, because he's a platoon guy against lefties only. And that's why he's not going to make it there for me. But of course, a great card. Of course, he is on my teams, and I have teams where he starts was at first base as the platoon guy for Lamb. So yeah, I mean, but for me, it's just the timing. He's just not long enough there, and he's just against the lefties.
And he's a Detroit Tiger. You have to include at least one Detroit Tiger on your team to stay in the good books.
You did not say that. I would have put Rusty in.
Oh, yeah. For me, it was, Rusty's bronze, right? Yeah, he's bronze.
No, Rusty.
Was he iron?
He's iron.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it was either Willits or Rusty. Mm-hmm. I went with Willits. And surprisingly, I did not have the Iron Clemente as part of my top 26. I went with a different one. You can't argue, though, his defense, the best right fielder, for a long time in the game, and you could use him both sides. I guess that speaks to why you chose him.
Yeah, he was. The moment he was out, I got him onto my team. I paid a lot to finish that mission to get him on there. And he stayed on there for a long time. And then I still had a platoon with him with Clemente playing the left field, the left-handed pitchers there. He's probably my number 3 iron card. If I have Kingman, if I have the Jimmy Ryan, and then the Clemente card is probably my 3rd card for iron of the cycle.
I think for me, I got caught in the power I, and early on in the cycle, and so I kind of went with power and I for my guys, and he is not power I. He does have the defense. Now I think we've seen a shift in the game where BABIP is starting to play a lot more in terms of results. And now I would probably play him more than I did back then, but definitely a good choice, Roberto Clemente. Okay, before we get on to our pitchers, let's take a quick peek at the bounty, because I think the bounty may have been claimed. It's just a matter of who claimed it. I know I played EVC in round 1. Let's check that out.
Not the evil one.
The evil one, yes. Well, EVC is one and done. He lives up to his name, was gone, because he beat me, and now he's gone. Ezra won the battle of the streamers. EVC beat me. Ezra beat EVC. And now Ezra takes on the young gun, the young buck. He's taking on Portland Llamas, who beat out the only non-compliant team there. So EVC will get the 5 packs for defeating me, and you lost out in 2 to the Hoosman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hoosman, the Dodgers. When they're hot, those Dodgers. They're taking on the Foothillers. So you guys are playing for the in-game packs now because the bounty was claimed early on. I thought I had a pretty good team. What was the even scores here? It was 8-1. Ooh, 5 runs in the 9th inning. That stings. And 6-3. 3 in the bottom of the 10th. 1 in the bottom of the 9th. I need advice on what to do late in games because I just blow so many games.
Yeah, what Covercom says, music lessons is a menace in tournaments now.
I know. Who invited that guy on our streams? Music lessons
that's
says
the problem. We are just too friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him all this advice and help get started, and now we're gonna get the payoff.
Yeah, it's like another fish we got coming in to beat and win. We're gonna throw out the line for music lessons. Easy food. No, he said when he started watching our streams, he said, "You know what? I'm a sponge. I'm going to soak everything up."
Yeah,
and
he did.
He did. He absolutely. Like I said, he and Minerva are 2 that I've seen as most improved over the last couple of months. So good to see. Good to see this new blood come in and make it challenging for us. All right, we're going to hit our break here. When we come back, we're talking iron pitchers, and we're going to go through the bronze. So stay tuned. Back in 2 minutes' time. All right, we're back here with Don't Cut the D-Block Dragon and I. And again, thank you so much, D-Block, for giving up your time and coming on and reminiscing a little bit. And, D-Block and I, ever since he started watching my stream and we started to collaborate on a few things, we think the game's similar in a lot of ways, but yet we do have our differences in certain builds and certain types of players. And we love the iron, we love the bronze. And I know Cav is in the house. He loves lower levels as well. Plays a lot of iron, and it was. I'm going to admit, beating you twice in the pumping iron was kind of sweet because you beat me so many times in big tournaments. D Dempsey kicks my butt in tournaments. So it's always these friendly rivalries, always fun to kind of be part of. So thanks again for giving up your time. Let's
my
talk
pleasure.
pitchers. Chat, give us your opinion on your favorite iron card pitchers. First, we're going to go through the ones that we both had in common as part of our 12. So we chose 12 iron pitchers, top pitchers of the year. And maybe a surprise for some of you, but a guy that I bet if you played this game from the beginning, you used this pitcher. Oldie but a goodie, Weldon Wyckoff. Tell us a little bit about early iron pitchers.
They had usually what they had was usually a lot of stuff, a lot of PBABIP, but no control.
Yeah. Hence why you're going to see a lot of red control for some of our pitchers, because early on, this was the cookie cutter kind of shape for a lot of the better pitchers. They simply didn't have a lot of control. Rarely did you see a balanced pitcher early on in iron. So you were looking for the high home run suppression, the high pitcher BABIP. Stuff was usually kind of back and forth, but early on we figured pitcher BABIP was the go-to. And so most of the iron pitchers you looked for was the pitcher BABIP.
And
Weldon
was a lefty. That was one of the things. I think he was a lefty, wasn't he?
Who, Weldon? No, he's a righty.
Sure.
Says that on the card anyway.
Oh, it says on the card. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was a lefty.
So Weldon Wyckoff, part of both of our rosters. And I see some others in the chat too. Give us some pitchers that you guys like. See if they made our rosters. I'm seeing a couple names already. This is why I would think Mathis would be valued, because a high catcher can offset bad control. That was the thought at the time, that catcher ability frames your pitchers better. So you have pitchers with bad control. Your good catchers will get a few more strikes called. We don't know for sure, but that was definitely the running theory on why Mathis should be used. Sacrifice the bat to take advantage of the low control pitchers.
Yeah, definitely. And I just shouted out Mabike 77 there. Hola Mabike, how you doing? Mabike is a European streamer. You're from Spain, from Barcelona. And he is one of the new streamers there and trying to get more people in Europe involved in baseball and OOTP. So, one of the good ones.
Welcome in. We need more European streamers for different times of the day. So, welcome in, Marbike 77, and good luck with your streaming career. You got D-Block there to help you along the way for sure. So if you're in chat and you're looking for some other streams to watch, a variety of streams, go click that link.
English, Spanish.
Oh, is he broadcasts in Spanish?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Je ne parle pas español. I can speak a little French, but yeah, Spanish. I guess some streams have the subtitles, maybe. You can watch the little subtitles. Okay. We got Mitch Williams. We got Lundgren. We've got lots of Nitka whiskey. Yeah. We'll find out as we go through. Next up, there he is.
Yeah, Carl Lundgren.
My favorite pitcher in the first 3 or 4 months of the game. Carl Lundgren. Again, that control, but that was so common.
Yeah.
Just and look at these two. They're, again, Lundgren's slightly better Wyckoff with stuff and with pitcher BABIP especially, or with pitcher BABIP more than stuff. He was the darling for me in iron pitchers early. I don't know. Okay, what else can you say? He had
not much. He lasted very long in the starting rotation. Even when he was basically out, there was always times when you just put him back in there.
Yeah,
love that call.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gavicom won a silver platter with Lundgren. I don't know if that's recently or if that was earlier in the cycle, but if you're still playing Lundgren, bravo to you, because that's one brave play. So yeah, just again, he's not up there with Jimmy Ryan for me, but early on, he was a must-have as my number 1 or 2 guy. Next, we both had Al Leiter. For me, he was just reliable. He, again, good pitcher BABIP and home run suppression. For control, he was higher than Lundgren. He was higher than
he was
Wyckoff.
in the 30s. That was considered high.
In the 30s. Woo! He was a lefty. And he was a lefty, yes. Starting rotation for a while, and then he moved to my bullpen for even a longer time as a bullpen guy.
Yeah.
So,
and with that, if you see that he's even better in the bullpen, for example, than the Lundgren card, because his pitchers are just better. With the Lundgren has that curveball, but that is basically it. The Leiter has the fastball and the curveball, which are very good. So that he gets that Leiter gets that bullpen boost there with the stuff. So
when it came time to it, I moved Wyckoff to the bullpen because of the 2 pitches better.
Yeah,
and we moved Leiter.
And out of those 3, basically, Lundgren is basically probably the worst bullpen pitcher there. But the Leiter, especially with being left-handed, as Cubs fan Steve says, he's still worth putting in the bullpen if you feel like it.
Yeah, I still see him on some rosters.
Yeah.
He's definitely there. And again, I think he was a day 1 card. Very close to it. Al Leiter made both of our lists for top pitchers in iron. Next up, we both liked Highball Wilson. This was a card you could only get if you were a PT Plus member or bought one on the card shop after the fact. And this is a point now where we start to see balance in pitchers. And not a lot of stuff, but again, he's a dead ball guy. It's expected. But there's balance in everything else. And he played in the bullpen and even in the starting role for a while, but mainly in the bullpen for a long time in my iron teams.
He was my number 1 starter for the longest time in iron. I think he is my number 1 pitcher in iron.
Oh, wow. Really? Above Lundgren, huh?
Yeah, above Lundgren.
Okay.
I saw the first PTCS I actually watched. That must have been PTCS 3 or 4. I'm not sure. The winning team had Lundgren and Carmen Hill. And that was the first time I said, hey, I never heard of those pitchers, and looked at them. And they had the completely different shape than any other pitchers that I have. And that's why I tried them out. And that's how I basically phased away from those high BABIP, low control pitchers. And then the Charlie Lee came out, who was basically kind of like this shape, like green all over, no specialties, but very balanced. So my 3 pitchers for the longest time then there were Highball Wilson, Carmen Hill in the 2nd spot, and the Charlie Lee in the 3rd spot.
So again, Highball Wilson makes both of our list. He's a PT Plus. Throughout the cycle, I had PT Plus as well, and three PT Plus cards really stand out for me as playable for a while. That's this one, the Kristen Yelich, which was the first one, was playable in Diamond, and one we're going to see in Bronze a little later that I think was maybe their best PT Plus card of the cycle. Next up, you mentioned him. He's on both of our lists. We both like this guy. I like him because he's an Expo. You're kind of an Expo fan too, because you like Sexy Rexy and a few other Expos. Balance. He was the best balance pitcher that came along. And from this point on, we start to see more and more balanced pitchers, better control pitchers. Charlie Lee was number 1 for me for a long, long time.
A lot of people played him in Bronze.
Yeah, right.
When he came out.
Yep. Moved up to Bronze. Yeah, absolutely. Just stable. And I never really moved him to the bullpen. He was either starter or didn't pitch for me. I didn't really have him in the bullpen. Did you ever use him?
He's not that good in the bullpen. Mainly because the same thing with the Lundgren card. His pitches are not that good that you get any boost. as a bullpen there, and that means that there are much better bullpen cards there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. EBC, the Larkin was another one. I forgot about Barry Larkin in gold.
Barry Larkin was pretty good. Yeah,
he's definitely a top PT plus card that they made available. So Charlie Lee makes both of our lists, and the next guy is Jim Booten. Jim Booten. I don't know if you guys used him. The pitcher BABIP, though, is the thing that makes him a playable card.
Yeah, and he was the guy with the highest control at that time.
Yeah, at that time at 46. So when you get a guy at 33 and 29 and 28, and then this guy comes along, he's like winning because he's got the pitcher BABIP and he's got the control. So he made most people's lineup that played iron. And Cav, I saw a comment that Spore doesn't play iron. Well, good. Keep Spore out of iron because he kicks my butt in a lot of tournaments. So I don't want him here. Spore, stay out of iron next year. Jim Booten, again, I don't know if he was ever the meta pitcher.
Probably not, but he was like the number 3, 4, or 5 guy.
Yeah. Always kind of mid to bottom of the rotation for me. Absolutely. Okay, and the final iron card that we both like, and he came out later, I think, and had the low control. But the difference is, if you look at those early low control guys, right? And then we got lighter. And then you look at Bronca. There's one big difference. And that's the stuff, which made him worthy to play, right, in iron tournaments.
Yeah. Not only that made him worthy being a closer, stopper type of player later than when he dropped out of the rotation, that he was basically one of the best bullpen arms you could have.
Yeah. Agreed. And again, PTCS, even in the last couple PTCS iron, people were using Bronca either as a starter or as a bullpen guy. He still should be on your roster, in my opinion. Although I think in the last few card releases, he kind of dropped off because of that control. So I'd say right up to PTCS 9, he was a very popular player, and then didn't see as much of him in PTCS 10. So Ralph Bronca, unusual shape. Just if you cover up that control, he wouldn't be an iron. He'd be gold.
He wasn't eligible for PTCS.
Oh, is that why? Oh,
46. Okay. It's one, you missed it by 1 year.
Oh, right, 1946. Okay. Now we'll go with cards that were not on both lists. For me, Aceveus was my Iron Man. He was probably the card that lasted on my roster the longest. Other pitchers came and went, but Aceveus stayed there for a long, long time, almost right up to the very end. And again, that pitcher BABIP, the home run suppression, just an all-around useful card for me. Did you use him at all?
Yeah, I played him, but
okay,
not that much.
Okay, so there's
mainly because especially with iron, I did use if I could, I used to do a lot of micromanagement there. If the starters didn't have it, just get him out of there and use one of my bullpen guys. And I basically, the problem with him was the reliever role. I could not use I could not use up that spot for I could use that spot for a starter, not a pure reliever, in case I need that guy to micro in with iron. So and with iron, it was just so common that pitchers had a good day, then they would dominate, and then they had a bad day, and they would give you an 8+ ERA. And usually, for the most part, they wouldn't get better. Or if they had the next chance, you're either out or you're not. So you just get them out of there and try somebody else if somebody else has a good day. And you couldn't do that with Aceveus. I don't know how you pronounce that name there, Aceves, and that's why I rarely used him. But I did at sometimes when I had a reliever spot. I usually went to him.
Right. He was usually my setup guy, setup and secondary as a closer. Just I liked him late in the game. And like I said, I had a lot of success with him. And EVC that says you pronounce that not Boughton, but Boughton. Boughton. Well, EVC, I bow down to you because you beat me in the bounty tournament. So congratulations on claiming the bounty tournament. Wow. Okay. We got it. Where I had Aceveus, I did not have Carmen Hill. And I know you love this card, and I never really used him on my team. So convince me what made him such a good pitcher for you.
First of all, the balance. I mean, he's completely not splitty. And that is because of the screwball, of course, that he gets his weak side up so well that he's a completely balanced card. It doesn't matter which side. And his PBA was pretty high, and the rest was just balanced. 63 control was at that time just unheard of. If you had the highball Wilson, and then you have this card. Those were the two highest control cards with a good PBABIP. And I didn't care about anything else. And he dropped out of my starting lineup way before Highball Wilson. But to my surprise, he was pretty good in the bullpen.
I noticed you used him a lot in the closer role, like a stopper or closer,
which is surprising with that with the non-fastball, curveball, changeup, not that very good, but that screwball is just so good that he actually worked in the bullpen, and he's one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, so for me, my late inning guy was Aceveus for a long time, and you had Carmen Hill, so kind of a little bit of a difference there, but absolutely good choices. Next one, a card I used a lot later on in the cycle. In some PTCSs, he was my number 2, maybe even my number 1 starter, and that was Floyd Yeomans, another Montreal Expo. And Spore gave a lot of love to the Expos this year, and well done, Spore, on recognizing them. I think his 18 versus the left-handed batters might scare a lot of people off, but he worked for me. I don't know why. He just worked for me as a starter, and he won more than he lost in my tournament. So I had Floyd Yeomans as one of my top 12 pitchers. You had Tommy Byrne, who I did not have. Again, low control, high pitcher BABIP, but he's got the high stuff. So similar to that Ralph Branca card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the Yeomans, I thought about putting him in. I used him a lot in the bullpen. The starter, when I started him, he did not work for me. And the thing really that he's going to be famous for is that when he came out, he was in the George Brett mission.
Oh, that's why he was so expensive.
Yeah. He was the iron card in the George Brett mission, and that, of course, meant that you could not get them in the spotlights because of him being in the iron there, and it was very tough to get him. And Underdogs said, the first ones went by 50, 60 Ks, and he was with Quisenberry for a long time the big bottlenecks for the George Brett.
Crazy how these iron cards and bronze cards, and not even just not the limited edition ones, but just regular packable cards went for over 50K. Mathis, of course, was a mission card, so he was going to be expensive because you had to finish the mission. But there were a few packables that in iron, just crazy prices. All right, next up, I had Bruce Hurst. I think because of the timing wise, he wasn't in the game long. He's a relatively new card. He's he's the best pitcher in iron for me right now. I don't know if he's the best for everyone, but he's my number one iron pitcher. And I think for you, it's just a timing thing.
Yeah, exactly. Completely the timing thing. To me, he's right now. I have the Bannister a little bit ahead of him because of this better stuff.
Okay, you have Bannister ahead.
But they're just, I mean, very, 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 very close. He's one two. Bannister Hurst is right now my 1-2 punch without any doubt.
Is Bannister lefty or righty?
Lefty.
Oh, so they're both lefties. Okay.
Yeah. I have 3 lefties right now. I have the first Bannister, then Hurst, then Bud Black.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, the lefty pitchers, they start coming, and that changes the game a little bit when you start putting these lefties in.
Yeah.
So you did not have Hurst because he hadn't been in the game that long. He didn't make
enough.
top 12. But you did have this guy who's been in the game a while, going back to those dead ball pitchers that we saw a lot of. Joe McGinty. He wasn't in my top 12. He might be, 12 to 20. What worked for you with McGinty? Was it just the pitcher Babbitt?
Pitcher Babbitt in control.
Yeah. Again, a little bit splitty. So you used him as a starter or in the bullpen?
Starter, yeah.
As a starter? All right. So McGinty for D block, Bruce Hurst for me. And another one I used that I know we talked before about him. You never really became fond of Ken Tatum. Is that right?
Yeah, that home run suppression against the lefties. If you do run into those lefty specialists platoon cards that people do play, then this card is going to can run into trouble there, and that's why I never really got to it. And the reason what I said with the SMS, he's a closer. He's just not a starter, and I cannot micro him in. And that was the big thing for me, especially in iron, where the outcome for the pitchers is so wide. That I have the chance to micro somebody in there is really disqualified for me. Real relief pitchers.
Yeah, he kind of came out when Spora started to release a lot of these home run suppression major splits, like we saw Sean Marshall come out, we saw Mike Timlin come out, we saw Cliff Lee, I think, might have come out, like just extremes in some of the categories here. But I liked him. He was my closer, my stopper. I had Aceveus as a setup guy, and then he would lead into him. And like I said, it worked more often than it didn't. If there's a certain ballpark, I probably wouldn't play him in a ballpark that favored left-handed home run hitters. Like, then you take him out. That's a no-brainer. But in kind of neutral situations, he was always in my lineup. So interesting. I went with Tatum. You went with Wally Bunker. You like this shape. The BABIP and the control.
Yeah, I did. Early on there was that was what I was looking for, BABIP control, and had a tough time getting him out because he always gave him good results there.
Yeah, I did use him. He never really was a starter for me successfully. I tried him in the bullpen, but his pitch selection really isn't effective.
He's not a bullpen guy, no.
Yeah. So if he's not making your starting role, he's kind of off your team, and he just never really made my starter role. Next up, I had lefty. Kind of reminds me of the Wyckoff and the Carl Lundgren because they're kind of the same time period. He was probably the worst of the three, but he was still in my three in my starting rotation, probably up until June, July, and then he went to the bullpen for a while. So maybe half the cycle I was using this lefty card, and maybe just because you started late, you didn't get a chance to use him a lot.
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, I remember that he was in your video as one to target, and he was just not in my lineups long enough.
But again, just that great pitcher BABIP, great home run suppression. So he worked for me
for those early cards, right?
and a lefty, one of
Yeah,
those
and the
lefties.
lefty, yeah.
And you had the card that was mentioned earlier. He didn't quite make it, but I completely understand why he's on your list for cap reasons, especially.
Yeah, I mean, you still use him in caps. I mean, and this maybe now he's probably the second best 40 pitcher. I forgot the name. He just came out like in two weeks ago or something like that. Who was maybe better than Nitkowski, but yeah, if you're thinking cap, the first thing you think is CJ Nitkowski, and from day one to now, and there you got your Tiger.
Yeah. Those that play cap, they know their cards, and there's a couple live pitchers that are really good in cap situations, and there's a couple historicals, and he's at one point was the best cap pitcher that you could find. If anyone in chat knows who that other one is that came out, let us know. Who is the other 40 cap pitcher that is just as good or better? So those are our iron choices, and I asked you earlier on if you could put someone in that is kind of your 27th man. Who would that be?
That's tough. There are some that really would deserve it. For better, that would probably be Lou Gehrig.
Lou? Yeah.
Would probably be there. Right, especially at the beginning with he would play at first for me, and then Kingman at third.
Yeah.
And Dunn would play left field. So that was early on, but then he was, out of those three, he was the first one to go, and that's why he just did not make it for me.
All right, for me, it's Clemente. He was, it was hard to take him out with the defense he had and the BABIP that he had, but yeah, you have to make some cuts, and sometimes you don't want to cut some guys, but we had to. So for me, Roberto. So two interesting choices for our 27th man. All right, let's get on to my favorite level, the one I made those intro videos for, and that was setting up bronze tournaments. Will Johnny Dickshot be on D-Block's team? Will he be on my team? Will be on either team? We'll find out soon. So we'll try and get through this a little quicker. Dr. D is not streaming today. He sent me a text and said that he is not streaming because he's prepping for the interview that he has with Rich, I believe, for tomorrow. So there will be no one streaming in that slot as of now. However, when we finish, if anyone is streaming OOTP, I will take you over there. But stay tuned. We've got a final giveaway to do at the end and a special announcement you don't want to miss. So stay tuned for the end of the show. Bronze.
The iron card is Jose de Jesus.
Oh.
That iron card.
Okay.
That 40.
I guess I don't play caps. I don't know. I like the idea behind caps. Maybe just the time you need to. I don't know. Do you think you'll get into caps more next year?
It's not that I wasn't.
I mean, the PTCS is sometimes you had to.
Yeah. I don't like the extreme tight caps. I don't like that. But if they're reasonable, they're okay. I hated them in bronze because, of course, I was a real big opponent of those LE cards. And I found a way to beat those LE cards with platoons. And cap was the worst, of course, because caps robbed me of the only weapon I had against the LEs, which were platoons. And
Cage said that's my thoughts exactly. I think what scared me off of caps is so many involved perfects, and just like the LEs in lower levels, if you have the Sandy Koufax, the Ken Griffey Jr. early on, they by far were better than any other perfect, and so it's just like, why bother?
Yeah, and since those LEs really, and that's why I was so mad about that one PTCS where it was for me clearly a pay to win PTCS that you did not have a chance against. Most of those LEs were eligible, especially the Suarez was eligible. Those the shortstops were eligible. Termal was eligible, and it was a cap tournament, so I did not get to use my platoons against them. So it was clearly a pay to win PTCS, and I really hated it. And the results showed.
Yeah. The teams that were successful for the most part had the LEs, and
it was
so
win by wallet and not skill, and I hated that.
So let's take a look at our form so far. So the iron pitcher that D Block and I both had as a favorite was Carl Lundgren, was the one that we both had. I had Yeomans, D Block had Byrne, and I had Tatum. So the 7 people that chose Carl Lundgren, good job there. This is not Survivor style. It's simply whoever got the most questions right. Next, which iron hitter do D Block and I both have? FP Santangelo. And no one chose him. So no correct guesses there. People went with the go-to Jeff Mathis, but D Block did not have him. D Block did not have Halter, and I did not have Jake Lamb. The iron hitter. Sorry, what was that, D Block?
Sorry about that. By going off screen there with my Heine Pites.
Oh yeah. Hey, you got to change up the norm a bit. The card I had that D Block didn't have, we both had Friel. D Block had Dunn. No one had Pagliarulo, although a good card lately.
Yeah.
And Shane Halter was the card I had that he did not have. So 4 people got that correctly. The iron pitcher that D Block has that I don't have, that would be Jim Booten, I think. We both had Wyckoff and Leiter. So that one's Booten. That is 5 there. And that one is bronze. So we can't do the bronze ones yet. Okay, speaking of bronze, let's get to it. Leave the best, tell the last here. Cards that we both had. Now, Joey Gallo, I didn't take a close look at yours, but I put both of them on here because I know you like the live Gallo a little bit
better.
Yeah, little bit better. And again, they're very close. This one has a little bit more BABIP, little bit more eye, and power is about the same.
Yeah, but if you look at the numbers, the historic one is maybe is a few power points better and a few eye points better, but I thought the live one was more flexible with the position. The position.
Yeah.
The historic one was very limited in where you can play him. And the live one, you could play at first at left field and right field. That came in much more handy than the historic one.
Fair enough. Kat, which Gallo did you prefer in your bronze tournaments, the live or the historical? You can't go wrong with either one of them. So I included this as a match because same player, just a little different version of the player. So. But almost identical, like you said. You went with the versatility. I went with a slightly better bat. So there you go. If you compare them both right there, Gallo's better bat. I'm not showing positions here, but the live Gallo was a little bit better. Ezra said he saw the live one more often. I actually saw the non-live one more. In 5L, I usually see the non-live one. Interesting. We both liked Roberto Clemente this time. You liked him in iron. You also liked him in bronze. Again, he was my right fielder. But he played more than right, didn't he?
Yeah. That's the only Clemente card. Every other Clemente card was right field only. This one played all outfield positions, and all outfield positions good.
Right. That's why I had him compared to the iron one, because the versatility that I might scare a lot of people off, but he hit fine for me. Didn't hit home runs, but he played outfield really well, and he got hits.
I think he had surprisingly a lot of home runs for this little power because of the gap power. I mean,
Oh, yes.
he did have some those 350 feet home runs to the gaps if you had the right park with where you have those porches. He can give you some home runs, and that's surprising there.
So yeah, and I think most people would agree Roberto Clemente, bronze especially, is one of the top hitter cars for the cycle, and came out early, and well, maybe not early, close to the halfway point. I think Clemente came out. Lou came, like, what was the order? Lou, Jackie, Roberto?
When I started playing, Lou and Jackie were there.
Okay.
So that was in May, June. So they were already there. Clemente came, I would say, in July.
Yeah,
July.
Sounds about right. Next up, we both. Oh, I don't know if he's my favorite bronze card, because there's some other really ones I like maybe a little bit better. But for the first half of the year, my favorite bronze card, Dink Mothel. Take it away. This does not look like a bronze card even today with these kind of ratings, but tell us about Dink.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. I mean, the ratings are good. You probably don't start him anywhere right now because of the ratings. But I mean, look at that eye. Of course, is very good. Gap power is pretty good. His battle is good. And then if you just switch over to the positions, what can't he do? I mean, he's the only position he probably is worst at is center field. But anywhere else, you can play him.
Yeah, and start him when he came out.
When he came out, you started him at a lot of places, and he was probably the first real Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
together with a catcher.
Where did you play him mainly? Like, did you have a specific place you usually started him?
I did start him at first at second base, and then I switched him to the outfield.
For me, he was catcher first for a long time, and then he was second base for a while, and then ultimately he ended up in left field.
Yeah, but with catcher, there was the Petway, of course.
Yeah. I think I used both of them. I think those were my tandem in bronze for a while. But yeah, Dink Mothel, he's going to go down in OOTP24 history as one of my top bronze cards, and with that name, he's easy to remember too. Like,
yeah,
you like those funny names too. Next up, that we both agreed on, was the other catcher, Bruce Petway. Better catcher than Dink, not as versatile, but still very versatile. Again, just for a long time, you had Bruce Petway and Dink Mothel on your team.
Yeah, and especially since I did not have Mathis, of course I played Petway then.
Yeah, and I still see Petway in some lineups in bronze.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't really know why.
Yeah.
But if you have the Perez card and all the catchers that we do have right now, he has fallen out of it, really. Even more than Dink, I can understand if you still have him in there. Petway, you shouldn't, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, 5L, if he's there, you take him because you're not going to get
5L, if he's there, you take him probably. But you take it with the outfield, you take Dink over Petway. And at catcher, there are just so many catchers that you could use instead of him. So he's probably falling out a lot quicker than Dink. But when he came out, it was great.
I guess we had Jackie Day first. That would have been in April. And then Lou was probably early June, I think. June 2nd or something like that. And then Roberto was probably, like you said, July, August. Probably August. I think there was a gap between Lou and Roberto, I think, for a couple months. Might have even been September. It was a bit of a gap. Next up, player we both liked. For me, it was either Herman Long or Woody Held. Both guys were playable for a long time.
Interchangeable.
Yep. And I ultimately went with Woody because I just think overall he's a little bit better. But apples and oranges, you pick which one you want.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I picked Woody too. I think his defense was a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's why I picked Woody there. That's when I still consider defense.
Yeah.
And
So Woody held. I'm sure people in chat, if you play bronze, you had Woody held for a long time. Like he was just that durable player. The bounty is the third straight tourney where Pedro debut as being amazing for you. Yeah, he's a good card. I usually take him in the 5L. That's not the 40 card, is it? That's a different NEL card.
no, that's a bronze card.
Yeah.
62.
Next up, we both had, and I know a lot of your criteria was later cards you didn't consider as much, but I guess he was made enough impact that you wanted him as part of your top card.
And
Bob Horner.
Yeah, he's been here longer than Mondesi or something. Those cards.
Yeah, does anyone know in chat when he came out? Was it like November?
Same time. It came out, I think, a week before the Suarez card came out.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm messing this up with Everett. He came out as the response to Suarez. So non-LE have somebody there at third base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we have a date released card tag.
That would be super.
Yeah. Be nice to have the date.
The impact this card had was just, yeah. I don't know a bronze card that had such a big impact than this. I'm sorry. I don't think I have an iron card that made such a big impact when coming in as the newer cards than this one here.
Yeah, yeah. And you can't count Kingman because he was there at the beginning, so he didn't come into the game. But I mean, we were blessed with third base bronze cards that you could pick one of 3 or 4. I mean, you didn't play Bob probably at third. You probably played him at first or DH, but you could play him at third if you didn't care about the defense. And again, he still holds the record in 5L for most home runs in a tournament with 16. Like your eyes get wide if you see him in a perfect draft. You take him. Yeah. Bob Horner, not much else to say about him. His results speak loud and clear. Another one we both liked because, again, he was the meta catcher in bronze for maybe the largest period of time, and that was Roberto Perez. Good arm, good ability, and a good bat, especially against the lefties.
Yeah. Yeah, he took over for Petway, definitely. And I think he was the first card that convinced all those Mathis lovers to leave Mathis where he belongs in Ireland.
Yeah. Mathis played up for a while there, and then this card came along. I remember he was pretty expensive on the card shop.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a mission. I think it was just because he was so good that people wanted him.
Yeah, and the problem with bronze not being in the spotlights.
Yeah. And the next one is a pitcher that we both liked.
Yeah.
Maybe the longest surviving meta pitcher this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Lucas Giolito.
Yeah. At times I got frustrated with the low home run suppression. If we had tournaments where in a row where we are in a modern setting and in a home run park, but that is really his only flaw there. With that stuff, with that PBAB and that control, even if you do give up home runs in a normal setting or in a normal way, if you do give up home runs, those are single home runs, so you can live with that. And once he dropped out of the starting rotation, he was an awesome bullpen arm there too. So yeah.
Well, we're going to a final game 3 in the finals of the bounty. Again, playing for the in-game packs. Ezra's red shirts have made their way, beating music lessons. And the Dodgers, after sweeping the first three rounds, have lost their first game of the tournament. So the Dodgers up against the red shirts. Dodgers take game 1. So let me do the math here. 2, 4, 6, 7 games in a row that the Dodgers won before their first loss. So
Yeah,
Jack
I'm looking
Taylor,
at the picture with that ERA, and actually, Ezra might be their favorite here.
Bugs Raymond going up against Jack Taylor.
Yeah, well, Jack Taylor has not had a good tournament so far.
Yeah, 6.19. Speaking of cards we like at the lower level, don't see a lot on here from Ezra's lower level. But good luck to both of you.
I like that Brad Hawk card that Ezra has as a pitcher. That is a very nice card.
Spoiler alert.
I said, oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
We may see that coming up soon. Okay, let's go back. Lucas Giolito, I eventually had to take him out of my starting 5. He was giving up too many home runs. I was watching tournament highlights and home run, always off Giolito, and he's not in my starting 5 anymore. Kept him in the bullpen for a while, but I think I even eventually moved him off my team. But shout out to historical Lucas Giolito. This guy, again, favorite of mine, loved him. Dave McNally, left-hander as well, whereas Lucas is a right-hander.
Yeah.
Got the job done, D-Block, as
Definitely.
a starter.
Yeah, and he was basically the left-hand buddy of Giolito. He doesn't have that big of stuff, but he's got the things done as a lefty, and he was basically my best pitcher for some time.
Yeah,
the
he
one
was my number one.
The one I could trust to give me a decent tournament there. Yeah, it was.
He came out probably close to the same time as Giolito, maybe a little bit before Giolito. But
Both were there when I started, basically.
Was he? Okay, yeah. He was the meta guy for a long time in your top 5, even in your top 3. And that's where we kind of said, okay, pitcher BABIP and control, they seem to work in these lower levels. And it worked with him. Next one we both had, probably going to surprise some people on the forum. Sid Fernandez. I was surprised you had him. I didn't know you liked him as much as I liked him because he's been in the game, I think, since the beginning or close to it. And for me, he worked really well as a late inning guy.
Yeah.
Setup, stopper, closer. He seemed to work well, even with that control. And I just think it's the stuff was overpowering early on for the cards he was facing.
Excuse me. Yeah, he didn't work that well as a starter for me, but he just was awesome in the bullpen. And I could still use him as a micro-in guy. And he's a left-hander. And you always look for those lefties that are not too splitty.
And look at those pitches, like 89, 98, 81, bullpen written all over it. So if you don't mind the odd walk, he's going to do fine for you in the bullpen. At least he did.
Because of the stuff, he's going to give you he's going to get himself sometimes into trouble, but with the stuff with strikeouts, he's going to get himself out of trouble though. Yeah.
You know, Bob Horner is probably going to have his way with them more than he won't, but
yes.
He made our list as one of our top bronze pitchers for both our teams. And I think this is the final. Yeah, the final guy we both had.
Oh, yeah, and that card came out.
Oof. Asagawa. Stuff was a little scary to start with, and I don't think I use him now just because that stuff does hurt him now. But when he came out, he was the Mariano Rivera of bronze.
Yeah, for the longest time, really. And I just loved saying his name, Shigetoshi Hasegawa. I just loved saying that. And,
exactly. I'm glad you
I mean,
can pronounce that first name.
Shigetoshi
Shigetoshi.
Hasegawa.
All right. There'll be another Japanese player coming along, I think, in the stream too. A catcher, possibly, maybe. All right. Let's go on to the ones that. Oh, actually, we just hit a break here, D Block. So we'll be back in 2 minutes' time.
Alrighty.
My business, humming a song. I'm happy by myself, not a care in the world. This is a life, just me, myself, and I am watching the clouds up in the sky, all but laughing out loud. I'm telling you why I'm living the life, just me, myself, and I used to think that life was cold and lonely when you up and left me, sadness overwhelming. Oh me, I am out and about, painting the town red, I'm coming around. There ain't no doubt about it, I'm no longer blue. So glad we are through, just me, myself, and I. Cried, I thought I'd die without you. Those tears are gone, no, I don't even care about you.
All right, we are back. And before we get back to our final mention of some of our favorite bronze cards we've experienced throughout the year, let's go and take a look at the final game in the bounty. Let's see how it played out. Was it Ezra? Was it the Hoosman? And it was the Hoosman that won game number 3 by a score of 8-3. Sometimes, Ezra, you got to go with your gut. In the chat, you said, maybe I go with Debut, who was pitching really well for you, and you ended up going with your original starter. So, yeah, I hate second-guessing myself, too, because if you go with Debut and he has a bad game, then you go, oh, why did I make that change? Just whatever. Let it play out. But sometimes your intuition is right because, yeah, he went 2-0, 0.52. That might have been a case where you go with Debut in that situation there. But, hey, congratulations. You got 1 pack from the tournament there. And congratulations to the Hoosman for taking the overall bounty. Of course, EBC gets the bounty claim. He won both games against me, but yeah, that was a fun one with those rules. I'm glad it wasn't too tough. Most people, I think, were able to meet those criteria. Okay, finishing off the bronze cards. Here we go. The differences between our two teams. I like Gorman Thomas. I understand why you don't have him there because I played him a lot in April and May. And then he was pretty much off my roster. But he was kind of that Dave Kingman, but he didn't last as long as Kingman because Kingman at least had defense. Gorman either played center field or DH pretty much. But again, he hit a lot of home runs, took a lot of walks for me. So Gorman Thomas, did you have a chance to play him much in bronze?
Yeah, I did actually. And he, of course, he was in your video. And
oh yeah,
the problem really was that for me, it was Jimmy Ryan or Gorman Thomas at DH. And I decided more and more for Jimmy Ryan and not Gorman Thomas.
Yeah. See, I put Thomas at DH and Ryan in center field usually. So I took the hit in center field a little bit. You had Johnny Dickshot. All you naysayers that said no one would have Johnny Dickshot, what are you thinking? This is D-Block we're talking about. This guy here, Mr. Dickshot. Why the love, other than the name, why the love for Dickshot?
I mean, look at that card. He's an
you
awesome,
sound like me with Dave Steeb.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that card. He's an awesome outfielder. He is still, no, he's not, but he was up until for about 2 or 3 weeks, the best left fielder against lefties. All those other cards that came out, Benintendi, Baddoo, I don't care. They were all worse than Dickshot against lefties. So he was my platoon guy there. He could, it doesn't matter if it's lefties or left field or right field. He could play there. Man, that is such an underrated player. Even at his playing days, with very spotty occupations in the major league, but playing for I think it was from 1927 to 1945. So yeah, one of those baseball lifers that if you love baseball, you have to love players like that.
You know what's funny is, and that's why I love this game so much, is you come across players like this, you learn about players like this, and the smile it puts on people's faces. For me, it's Dave Steeb. For you, one of them's Johnny Dickshot. For Ezra, it's Daddy Wags. Chat, let us know who is the card maybe from this year that you maybe didn't know much about, but you just fell in love with because of OOTP, because yeah, you can win championships and virtual trophies and packs, but the memories like this, D-Block and his love for Dickshot, that's priceless. You can't put a number of packs on that. So chat, let us know who is the player this year that really you became fond of. I liked him. I used him quite a bit, but I just didn't have that emotional attachment, I guess, that you had with him. So Johnny Dickshot. Ooh, Minerva was lemon jello. Okay. It's cool hearing things like that. Jimmy Wynn he was kind of like, you had Jimmy Ryan, you had the two Jimmys, Jimmy Wynn and Jimmy Ryan for a long time. Was my left fielder. Also could play center, left field and center field. And Power and I. Again, I was Power I. And he took a lot of walks for me. But yeah, made it to my top 14 batters. Why not for you?
Because of Dickshot?
That's why I had him back to back. I thought that would be your response. Yeah, because this guy,
Jimmy Wynn was he played for me for quite some time there at left field. I tried to get him out. I had like Matty McIntyre and all those other players there at times, but I usually came back to Jimmy Wynn. He was those typical early cards there, and that could make or break a tournament for you. Yeah, I could have had Joey Gallo there too, but
yeah, these are some of the favorite cards. Gallo, an emotional attachment for Cavacom, LeBlanc for Monterre Don. So yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Others in chat there, if you have a chance, drop in some of these names that you just fell in love with these cards. For me, it was Wynn, Thomas, and Ryan, kind of my mainstay in the outfield for a long time in bronze. For you, I did not have him. Again, I do understand why you did. But why does Ethier stand out for you?
Yeah, when he came out, that bat was just so amazing against the righties. Mainly played him in at DH, but once Keston came out, I had to kind of make a decision who to play at DH and who to play in the field. And at times I played Keston in the field, and at times I played Ethier at left field with the platoon with Dickshot. And he is, in my opinion, still the best in left field, still the best bat in left field. He's a right fielder here, but he can play. I think he's even better in left field. Well, he's more useful in left field with the defense.
Yeah, I did use him mainly as a DH. Again, this is when Series 3 came out, we really started to see the splitty cards come out, which I love. I'm a big fan. We didn't see a lot of this last year or in previous years. They were more balanced, but I love splitty cards because it opens up the platoon choices that you have to make. Next, I was shocked, D-Block. Shocked you did not have Brock Holt as one of your memorable favorite players of the year. Why? It's Brock Holt. I don't care if he played 1 month. It's Brock Holt.
Because he never really started for me.
Yeah, okay.
I always had somebody, I mean, he can play everywhere and everywhere good. But I always had somebody who was better than him at that position. So he was, he played everywhere as a backup, but he never started for me. And that is, I can't use a favorite card if you don't really start.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I didn't put the Everett in there, but at least the Everett started at some point for me. But the Brock Holt never really started for me. Because I always found somebody who was better.
Would Nico Goodrum be above Brock Holt for you in terms of memorable? He
below.
Would? Oh, below. Okay.
Below.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see my reasoning because I had Shane Halter and Iron, Brock Holt and Bronze. So I do like those. I
totally understand those cards. I mean, they were awesome cards when they came out. But if I don't start him, how can I put him as my most memorable cards?
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, and that's what's cool about this exercise here is the rationing we have for our favorite cards is a little bit different. So Brock Holt didn't have the power, but as Ezra says, a 5L legend.
Yeah, 5L. If you see him in the 5L, you think about not even in 0.1 second to take him.
And for you, a guy I used, but I don't know, he just. Again, against the righties, yeah, I get it, but he just, to me, wasn't a memorable long-term card. But I guess for you, he was.
Yeah, he played so long in my platoon, first base platoon. Actually, I should have put in here the complete platoon because they played so much together. But I could only put him in there, so it's.
Was it Berkman or Bagwell?
Bagwell.
Bagwell, okay.
And then, of course, once Bagwell got the Dale Murphy card was the one who took over for Bagwell then. But I play, most of the time I played McGriff and Bagwell, and that McGriff card against righties was just awesome. He had basically those power eye guy power. But actually could play. It could get you some BABIP, get you some contact, and he just couldn't play against lefties. So that's why you used the Bagwell card there, or the Dale Murphy card then later. And together, those were basically. If you take those two together, they're basically in gold first baseman.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they go hand in hand with each other. I think for me, he didn't make my list because, again, at first base, you do have a lot of options. You got Lou there. I think even Joey Gallo could play first base if you wanted him to. So, he's great. He was meta at first base against the righties. I don't know. Maybe at that time I wasn't platooning as much, so I was using I didn't platoon first baseman anyway, but later on I would use Bagwell, because against the lefties, for sure, Bagwell is the guy. Now this guy, my favorite PT plus card. I know there's Barry Larkin and Highball Wilson and some others, but even more than Yelich, Jerry Pretty, as soon as he came out, I remember I was on with Warbot, and Warbot and Izadafo were kind of lukewarm on him. They said, yeah, he's okay. I don't think he got an S plus though. And I looked at him and go, oh no, this guy's going to last, and he's going to last for a long time. And he did as a second baseman. I think they didn't like him as much because he only played second base. So you were forced to use him there. But man, against the left-handed pitchers for maybe half a year, Jerry Pretty was the guy.
I mean, those are the same guys who think that the iron Clemente is better than the bronze Clemente.
Yeah, and I do like the bronze. I mean, he made both of our lists, and so Jerry Pretty, pretty good card. And you had Mark Bellhorn, who I liked. I'm going to admit I liked him. He played a lot of positions, but why did you like him?
I just loved with the he was basically, who was that other card? Who was upside down card with the splittiness. He's kind of like the same way. He like the against the righties. He has basically more the eye card, and to the other way around is the Babbitt power card. Not as much as splitty as it was, the other card was, but yeah, I liked him a lot. I remember a lot when I called that Evil C said, no, you can't play him because of the defense. I didn't just care. I really didn't care. I loved this card. He gave me so much offense, especially against the lefties, but also against the righties, and I played him so long at second base. And if I saw those two cards now, I really regret that I did not think of him as a Keston platoon guy. I use Pretty a lot as a Keston platoon guy. Pretty, of course, does not have the power, but the gap power and the eye and the BABIP and all that. And but I probably should have taken a look at Bellhorn again as a Keston platoon guy against the lefties to keep the power up there. And
it's a lot of power for a second baseman for early in the game too, with the eye to go with it. For me, I did finally cave and put an LE in. You'll notice so
far the good LE in. So okay,
yeah, I did put an LE in, and I like this card better than Ozzie Smith. In fact, I like Kevin Stalker better than Ozzie Smith.
Yeah, me too. I saw the 20 minutes I watched on that other stream that they had Ozzie as one of the best cards of the cycle. I mean, I'm sorry.
And I get it.
Really,
defense.
The defense. But it's not that Archie has bad defense. And he is such a better shortstop in bronze than Ozzie, and I mean, I totally see that. I just didn't have any LEs, so I didn't put him in there.
Yeah, and
my
again,
choice would have been the same.
5L God, he's one of the best consistent hitters with a Brock Holt and Kevin Stalker. I really, it came down to Vaughn or Stalker, and I really like Stalker too, though, but I think just based on 5L, Vaughn plays better in 5L than Stalker has, so I went with Vaughn. But both are excellent shortstops. You had a different guy that I've never used on my team. I have never used Ken Berry. Maybe I missed out on him. I don't know, but what do you see in this guy? You talked about Ozzie Smith and defense and shortstop. Well, isn't this the Ozzie Smith a center field, or does he provide something more?
Well, the problem is that he's a center fielder and not a shortstop. And if you compare that to the other center fielders who were there at that time, you had a Fielder, Jones, and they all were perfectly good defensive guys, but had no bat at all. This guy actually had some BABIP there. Did not strike out, had good BABIP, Did not have the eye, which the other guys has, but you know me, I would rather have BABIP than I. I think that BABIP is more useful than I. Has, of course, the problem with the double play, but I'd rather have with the BABIP you get the guy from first to third and not from first to second with a walk. And once you're at third, you can score in a pass ball with a sacrifice fly. There are just so many more options to score somebody from third than from second, and that's why I like BABIP more than I do like I. And his defense was very good, and I played him a lot.
Yeah, you're right.
And again, those people said that, for example, Fielder Jones has a better bat than Ken Berry, and I just hardly disagree with that. I thought when this card came out, he was the best bat at center field.
Yeah, it was. Most people were going, like you said, Fielder Jones, Gillenwater.
Yeah.
Again, the defensive build, but not much of a bat. And like I said, I never played him, so I don't have any experience with Ken Berry. But when I saw him on your list, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what makes him special? And then I saw the defense and a bat to kind of go with it. So, okay, yeah, I kind of get that. Next, you had the Bob Horner. We both had the Bob Horner, and in the same boat as Bob Horner, but Bob Horner came out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Estelela with Arky Vaughan and Bob Horner, just because of 5L, I got to put him on this list. He's a stud. And position-wise, he's not going to give you much defense, but play him in left field is kind of where I play him, or DH, one of those two. And just an all-around great player. Timing must be the issue again for you not having him.
I'm not sure if it was the timing or it was just the limitation of 14.
Yeah.
But kind of both of that. With the bat, he's the second best bat at left field after Ethia. So if I do play, that was probably one of the other things, that if I do play Jura at DH, I do play Ethia over Estelela at left field. And
okay.
That is probably my thinking there.
Yeah, I noticed when I watch a lot of replays and look at the box scores, he hits a fair number of home runs too, and I wouldn't expect that too much from the card, but he does hit a fair number of home runs and take walks, of course, with that eye. So Bobby Estelela. All right, we've got our last break coming up here. When we come back, we're going to finish off. We've got a few more bronze cards to go over, and then again, a final giveaway and an announcement. Stay tuned for that. Back in 2 minutes' time. All right, we are back. We got a few more hitter cards to go through, and then we have our pitchers that are different in bronze. And some, again, interesting choices by both of us in the pitching department. A guy, again, I did not use, just like I did not use the Ken Berry card. I did not use, at least much anyway, the Bobby Smith one. Where did you play him mainly? Third, second, short? Oh, I think you're muted there, D-Block.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I played him mainly at third, but then a lot of backup at second base, third base. He was, especially for tournaments, a very good backup card too. But I did play him for a long time. Play him at third.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning him a lot on your streams and things. Like Bobby Smith, I can't remember if it was because I used Estalella there or Horner.
No. He was there before Horner.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He was there before DeCinces and Brocious. He was basically when those exclusive cards came out, exclusive 1981. There was the DeCinces card in there.
Oh,
that's when I moved Bobby Smith to a backup role.
So kind of after Fred McGriff, Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah, I basically had McGriff, Bagwell. I had the Bellhorn at second and the Bobby Smith at third.
All right,
that was my usual.
Similar to the Bellhorn, kind of around the same time period. A lot of teams were running Bellhorn and DeRosa, and he made my list as top 14 hitters because I used him for a long time and in a variety of roles. Sometimes I started him, sometimes I did not start him, just as a backup. But he had some good production for me before the big cards came out, before the pretty card came out, and some of those other shortstops came out. He could play short if you wanted to force him in there, left field, right field, second and third. You must have played this card a bit.
Yeah, I did. I did too. That was those three cards, basically the Bella and DeRosa and Bobby Smith.
Right.
But in retrospect, I think I played DeRosa the least of those three, so that's why I left him off.
Two Chicago Cubs and Bellhorn and DeRosa. Cubs getting some love. You use this card, Volmer. Again, I did not. I don't think I used him at all. What made him special for you for a period of time?
He worked. That was the thing. He was very consistent for me in the tournaments as a power eye guy. And I actually used him in center field at times when I really got tired of all those black hole eye defense guys.
Huh. Yeah. Again, maybe because I looked at the card and go, "There's no way this card's going to work." Like it's just.
But he's a power eye guy. I mean.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the cards that you should have at least considered. Yeah. From the way that the other cards you have in there, it's the other way around, that I shouldn't have considered this card, but you probably should have.
Yeah,
and like Ezra says, he's in the 5L. He's a very useful card in the 5L. Still,
yeah. I mean, you think of Mark McGwire, those types of cards, and it's kind of the similar shape, except more extreme with Mark McGwire. Better power eye, less of the other things, and. Mark McGwire works in iron, like he gets home runs and walks.
And he has defense actually.
Yeah,
not the best defense, but he has usable defense.
Yeah, this of all the cards that you've put on here, there's a couple pitchers too, but this one for me is just one I just can't figure it out how I would use this card. But
he's not playing for me now, but he played for me for at least 3 months at the right field before Clemente came out.
Okay. So he was a card before Clemente.
Yeah.
It just doesn't ring a bell with me, Clyde Volmer. All right. Now we're going to have some whoa moments here. We're going to have some discussions here. When it comes to my favorite pitchers and D Block's favorite pitchers, we chose 12 of them. we showed you the ones that we had in common. Those were Hasagawa, Sid Fernandez, Dave McNally, and Lucas Giolito. We only had 4 pitchers in common, 8 that are not common. And one of them is Cliff Lee. For me, if not the best pitcher in bronze this year, very, very close. I can't pass up McNally and Giolito. They were really good for me. But I know you like the pitcher, Babbitt. That's where you're going, aren't you? How could you not have him, D-Block? That's what you said about Dick Shot with me. How could you not have him?
I know. And if you will ask me later which was the card, I was sad to leave off, and this is this card.
Okay.
He just didn't make it. There is one card in there that you're probably very surprised that I have him in there. And if I wouldn't have had put that card in there, it would have been Cliff Lee. But that's
okay. Yeah, Cliff Lee. But
just
no, I
did not
do
make
agree. I do agree. There's some division in thoughts about him because of that pitcher, Babbitt, and there are some that refuse.
I like the Cliff Lee. I mean, I play him a lot in the bullpen as my stopper, and he's doing a very, 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 very good job there. He did not start for me that long. He fell out of that for me quite quickly, but that's not because of him being bad. I just thought that there were better options. Yeah. And as a reliever, he's doing a super job for me. And I like this card a lot. And like I said, there already was, the one, the card.
We'll get to him in a sec, because I had them matched up with each other because I figured that was the one you would surprise a lot of people. But just to finish off Cliff Lee, like I've always said, people use him either in the bullpen or starter, but I think he's still got to be on your roster somewhere in some position. And he's been the most successful 5L pitcher in the 100 tournaments so that we've played. And I'm thinking maybe because every tournament in 5L has been 1985 or late 1960.
That helps,
had a modern day tournament. Put Cliff Lee in a modern day tournament, and I don't think he's the best pitcher there. So I think it depends on the environment. Well, my biggest surprise that you had, Tony Gonsolin from the close your ears, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, live Tony Gonsolin, who never crosses my mind when I see him in drafts. Never used.
I mean, you look at that P-bat. I mean, you should. He should. He was a silver card at the beginning of the year. And I played him in silver, actually, a little bit. And then he dropped down to bronze. And I did play a lot of live bronze tournaments. And he was, I think, the most dominant live bronze pitcher out there by far. And even if the rocking chair, if I played the rocking chair, if Gonsolin was there, I took him. And even as my 5th starter, he did not disappoint in the rocking chair. And as Minerva says, Tristan McKenzie and Silvers, that's the same thing there. Yeah, and like Gonsolin, I did play him in the rocking chair when he was a silver card, and I did play him then in the live bronze tournament when he was the bronze there. And I really, 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 really enjoyed this card for a long time. And he's clearly the best live bronze pitcher out there.
Wow, and that threw me for a loop when I saw him because live pitcher bronze, like no Cliff Lee, but you got Tony Gonsolin, and I get it, I understand it. See, I didn't play any live bronze, and
if I wouldn't have had that was clearly then it would have been Cliff Lee with me there. But because I did play those live tournaments a lot, and I got a lot of success in there, and I got a lot of packs in there because of Tony Gonsolin, and that's why he's in here.
Okay, in the 5L, I'm going to be watching for him with the live pitchers now because he's got that pitcher, Babbitt, and probably does a little better in those early eras compared to the modern eras. Maybe with that home run being low, don't know.
Yeah.
Another shocker for me that you did not have this guy in your top 12. Lee, I could understand a little bit because a lot of people use him in the bullpen, but how could you not have, oh, not this guy. Okay, he's coming up later. Okay, you didn't have this guy either. Jared Burton, he has been my mainstay stopper closer for 3 months now. Reliable. Just you went with a lot of starters, I guess, not relievers.
Yeah, again, I went with a lot of starters there, and Jared Burton, I love this card. I have him in my bullpen all the time. He's one of my mainstays there, with basically Cliff Lee, King, and Burton.
Yeah,
and
going on to your next guy, I used him a little bit. I know a lot of teams like Corey Kluber. I never really fell in love with the guy, maybe because it's the splittiness with the control. But apparently you had success with him, Corey Kluber.
A lot of success with him. I was very, very hesitant to start him, to try him out. But there were a time when the teams that beat me always had Corey Kluber there. And so I did try him out myself and just fell in love with it. This card. He was probably one of my favorite 3, 4, 5 starter in bronze.
Yeah, and for me, I never really gave him a chance, just maybe for a very short period of time, and then someone new came along, whether it was Messersmith or Steve or someone that kind of took him out of the lemon jello. There's always someone that kind of pushed Kluber out. So
I think if you would switch the home run suppression and the PBAB, more people would have played him.
Yeah. That could be it. Could be the pitcher BABIP, but then here I am pushing Cliff Lee with the 50 pitcher BABIP. So, is this the guy? Yeah, this is the guy that really shocked me more than Cliff Lee. Louis Castillo, like he was number 1 in bronze for 3 months solid. Number 1, no question. With Giolito, McNally, they were the top 3. What was it about Castillo that he didn't fit into your top 12? Oops, you're on mute again. You must have hit the mute button.
No, I hit the mute button because of the coughing.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Castillo, I left him off, if I look at my cards here that are still coming, mainly because of the timing. That is the only reason for it. If I look at what cards are still coming from myself, it's timing. It's that he has not been in the game long enough for me. I love this card. I am. What can I say? I know that people are playing him in silver. I would not do that, but I like this card a lot. But the timing was he was just not in the game long enough for me. That's why I did not have. Can already say that, like a Dontrell Willis or Bartolo in there. They're just not long enough in the game for me. And same thing with Castillo here.
All right, that's fair enough. So I had Castillo. You did not have Castillo. Like I said, he was my number 1 to 3 guy for a long time. You had this guy, who in 5L, when I ran the stats for it for January, he was one of the top pitchers in 5L, and I had never really even heard of him before that. And now I'm watching for him, Brad Hogg.
Yeah, he was one of my pitchers that I played. It was with Giolito together, one of my mainstays at starters.
And I still don't have him in my bronze roster.
He was again one of those guys that I saw in the PDCS live tournament, in the final tournament, and he didn't know anything about him before. Saw him there, checked him out, and he never got out of my team for a long time then.
Brad Hogg, and now I always look for him in the 5L. Like he's a must draft for me. So there's a little gem, guys. If you're not familiar with Brad Hogg, you might want to look into him and try him because he does have success. For me, Wilbur Wood was like my Aceveus of silver. He was a guy that was in the bullpen for a long, long time. You could put him in a high leverage situation. Maybe up until September, he was always there for me. And so he gets a place in my top 12 just because of his longevity in my lineup.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. It was just I could only fit in 12 pitchers.
Yeah,
and he's for me. If I just look at my what I gave you, I put in only 2 relievers on the in those, and that is because of me microing a lot there, and I don't have really the room. They have to be exceptional, and that's why I don't have the Burton in there. Very simple. I mean, the Burton is better than this card. And if I don't have Burton, I don't have this card.
Yeah. No, I Burton Wood, the strange pitch selection there, like all very low in terms of quality, but got that knuckleball, knuckle curve, and maybe that's what makes him more successful.
Reliever. That's interesting.
Yeah, knuckle reliever. Well, I had Wilbur Wood. You had Ray King, and man, I struggled with this one, D-Block. Like, I love King. I used King. I don't use him anymore, but I did for a long time.
What can I say? He was the guy who gave me the results. And I don't care about the control there, and I don't care about the stuff. He's giving me the results. He is not giving up hits. He's not giving up home runs. And he can have that low stuff if he doesn't need strikeouts.
Where did you use him?
Usually as my setup guy.
Setup guy, huh? I used him as a specialist and middle relief.
I see that. I always want to put him as a specialist, but he gave me the results, and that's it. I mean, I could have easily put Burton in here instead of King.
Yeah,
but
it's a good call.
I use King longer than Burton, so that was basically my thinking there.
And for me, I used Wood more than King, so I went with Wood instead of King. So similar thing. Yeah, another one that most people would not have in their top 12, but early in the game, and even on my videos, I had Danny Cox in my top 5. And again, I had no reason to take him out because tournament after tournament after tournament, he was winning more than he was losing, even with that low stuff early in the cycle. I put him in the bullpen for a while. He didn't work out there. So once he was out of my starting rotation, he was pretty much off my team. But I had a lot of success with guys like Danny Cox. And the other one that's kind of familiar to him, I think he's coming up later. So did you ever use Danny Cox much?
No, not even on my radar.
No? Yeah. Okay. No, I did. Chat, did you guys use Danny Cox much? And this guy I did use. He didn't make my top 12. You're giving a lot of love to EVC. Ezra's throwing, knives at you now. But your second Dodger pitcher,
what can I say?
Danny Cox, Cavacom. Danny Cox. A guy that likes dick shot did not put on Danny Cox. Okay. Oral Hershiser. All reliable. Number 4 or 5 guy for a long time.
I mean, he's just a very reliable, solid pitcher there, and I used him a lot and long time.
Yeah. And still do in 5L.
Yeah.
In 5L, he's going to be a starter for you.
There's nothing exceptional about that card, but there's just nothing. There's no flaw in that, and that's the thing with iron and bronze. If you have cards that have no flaws, that is exceptional. Usually, they have something that they're very good at, but that means that they have a lot of flaws in other places. And he has a pretty good PBABIP, but not really a flaw anywhere. And he was very consistent, and consistency was more important than having one tournament being really good and then 3 tournaments being really crappy for me.
Solid selection. He would, if I could have added 3 more pitchers, he probably would have been amongst them. So yeah, good selection there in Hershiser. Kind of with Sid Fernandez, he kind of came out around that time with Sid, and they were in the lineup for a long time. Next guy, I think, is going to shock you a little bit. It's going to shock most of chat, but there's a little bit of a story to him, and that is early pitcher in the cycle, Fred Beebe. You know what? When I was entering tournaments with him, quicks especially, and I was looking at the results after, maybe 10% of the teams had him in their lineup. And I would go and look at the pitcher stats, and he would always be up there in wins and ERA. So I started using him and having success with him. And I kept questioning, why isn't he meta? Why aren't more teams using him? And he never really caught on with the masses, but he always pitched well for me. And I got to put him in there because he was part of my lineup for at least 2.5 months. Did you come across him?
Mm-hmm. I played him a lot.
Did you play him a lot too?
Yeah, I did play him a lot. And that's probably because he was in your video.
Oh, yeah. And then I moved him to the bullpen, and he worked really well there because of his stuff. And
yeah, I can see that he's a good bullpen guy too. Yeah. I don't know when I moved him out, but yeah, I played him a lot early, and but I think that control really. I think around the time when I switched from Highball and Carmen Hill and Charlie Lee, I think that's when I went with control and not only looking at PBABIP, and that's when he fell out.
Yeah, I think I kept him in until the Cliff Lees, the Louis Castillos, the Giolitos, those kind of cards came out, and then they just overmatched him because that 35 control can only last for so often, so long. A guy that's more of a recent card, but a guy that you liked. I like him in 5L. I liked him in the PTCS. Whitey Ford. Nothing wrong with this choice. I just like you said, you had to leave pitchers off, and I had to leave off Whitey Ford.
And he's not a recent card. He is a very old card, I think.
Is he? No,
I'm pretty sure that he's old. I don't know. Spora
he's going to be there. Like after September.
No.
Yeah,
I think that he's one of he's with the BBs together.
Is he? Is he that old? Well, Cav is saying launch day. Well,
he got a resurgence now at I don't know, since Christmas he got a real resurgence here. But I thought he was there the first day I played.
Well, what caused the resurgence? Because we're talking about all these low control guys that came out early. He had 46. Like
the PTCS where 46 till, I don't know, when was that? Till 81. A lot of people played him there, and that's when they rediscovered him.
Okay. Rojo's saying he came out like the day before a PTCS, so he wasn't launch day. Rojo, was it a later PTCS or an earlier PTCS? I mean, is there more than one Whitey Ford? Is there an iron one? And like, are the people like? I can't remember him being.
I am pretty sure that he was there when I started out. When I started out in May and June.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why we need dates on the release dates on the cards to solve this.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that he was there.
So regardless, a really good card and a really good pitcher, and many people still have him in their top 5 or at least in their bullpen.
Yeah, and that's why I played him most of the time in the bullpen.
In the bullpen. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you taught me something today because I thought this was more on the newer side than the older side. So Whitey Ford would have made my top 20, but he doesn't make my top 12. Next up, again, a card I know I don't think you like. I think this is one you've spoken out against, is not one of your favorites. He's kind of opposite of Cliff Lee. He's got no home run suppression, but high BABIP and control. And that splittiness is probably why you don't have him higher. But he's one of my top 12. He's my setup guy, sometimes closer. He does have bad tournaments. Like, I'm not going to lie. He does have really bad tournaments sometimes. You're either going to get an all-star or you're going to get a dud when you use Mike Timlin.
Yeah,
Give
and
us your
that,
opinion.
yeah, and there are so many relief pitchers in there that give you all-star or solid instead of all-star and dud. So I have no idea why you're using this card, but uh, I could see if you use him as a specialist against lefties, if that would work. I could think of that, but man, that home run suppression against righties,
Yeah. If
must
specialists
be a
work,
special era. That must be really home run low era that I would consider playing him.
and typically not a card I would play. I mean, when I said stud or dud, it's like 75% stud, 25% dud. It's not 50-50. But again, he's better against lefties some ways, better against righties some ways. So usually not the card I would play, but yeah, I don't know. I just, for some reason, I like this Mike Timlin card. Yeah, music lessons. Yeah, no more Treasure Trove. The last one has been released. Spore did say there may be the odd card that comes out before the end of the complete cycle, but probably not much of a chance of that now. No big sets anyway coming out for OTP 24. A card I did not use more than maybe a couple weeks. I tried them out. Didn't have a lot of success. Maybe I needed to give them longer sample size. Mike Boddicker. You like him?
Yeah, he gave me the success. He gave me the results there. I mean, his PBAB is pretty good. He's not really splitty. Both against good players. He doesn't have the control when he came out. The control was okay. And he was basically my number 5 pitcher, and someone I could really rely on. He was like he's reference to that is Charlie Lee. That is those time. That was when I started to switch to these other pitchers, more control based, and he never disappointed really.
Probably more of a lower end rotation 4 or 5
Yeah,
guy.
always like number 4 or 5 guy for me.
Yeah.
But he played for a long time.
And he's got a forkball. We don't see the forkball too often.
No, but again, of course, no way you can play him in the bullpen without pitchers.
All right, our last pitcher. I again went with my second limited edition, and that's because I can't remember if I pulled him or bought him, but he came out early. This was one of the first lower level limited editions, and again, just he had that Cliff Lee shape, and not many pitchers at that time had it. He lasted probably right up until November for me, even if I had to move him to the bullpen where he was much better in the bullpen. But limited edition Cal Eldred, I can't remember how much I paid for him, if I paid for him, but I had to include him because he was one of the longest lasting pitchers on my team. I don't think you ever owned him, did you?
No, I didn't own him, but I totally understand that you put him in there because I think even if you play him today, he would still not disappoint. There were probably better pitchers out there, but even if you play him today, there's nothing wrong with that. In the 5L, he's one of the better pitchers. And in the bullpen, he's even better.
Yeah, I agree. And plus a lot of, if I think we might have had bronze caps early in the year. So as a bronze cap card, you're going to pay the 1 for him just because he's got it all. He's got all the tools for an early card. So Cal Eldred and GT Sundown seemed to draft most of our players today. He said, I got that guy and I got that guy in my 5L. This is why Sundown always wins.
Yeah.
Well, Sundown, you need to be part of a roundtable sometime. You do well in the 5L. We need your expertise. What's working for you? And your last pitcher and the last card we're going to go through, which is the tiebreaker question. He would have been part of my top 20. He does well in the 5L. Tell us what you love about Topps Jimmy Key.
If you look at the Edward card, he's actually with the exception of stuff, he's better than the Edward card. I mean,
yeah,
he was very early. He was one of those early Topps cards. Dream Bracket true. So that is right in the summer, sometime around that must be like June, July. And he, with that P-BABA, with that control, he was just very, very good. And I played him just a lot. And the problem with him was, of course, his pitches are not. He wasn't able to pitch in the bullpen, but so he dropped out earlier than other cards. But I kept him in there for a long time, and one of those things is I just love this Blue Jays logo. I know that in your hockey chat, you always take the teams and the variations of the logos. I just love that Blue Jays logo. That's just one of my favorite logos of all time and of all baseball teams. And I always puts a smile on my face when I see this card with that logo. And and looking at that P-BABA in that control, that puts a smile on my face too. And that's why he's in here.
Yeah. He's an early card because it's tilted, the way the picture's taken. And you know what? I like all the Blue Jays logo, except I cannot stand the black and blue one. I think from the 90s or early 2000s, the Vernon Wells days, like that. I please don't go back to that one, Blue Jays. Use this one with or without the Toronto Blue. So are you liking it because of the team name on it as well, or just the actual logo?
Yeah, I like it because of the actual Blue Jay there.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. It just speaks to me. It's just I really like that card.
And on Canada Day, they usually wear their red uniforms, which I think is pretty cool because Canada's flag is red and white. So it's a nice touch when they do that. So Jimmy Key, who has stuff of 49, pitcher BABA of 89, control of 79. I think I probably went with Eldred just because of his long-term use in the bullpen. Whereas Jimmy Key, you're not gonna. It's either starter.
You don't play in the bullpen.
No. Yeah, starter or nowhere. So speaking of the 5L, now we can, before we end off here. Oh, before we go to the 5L, we got to ask who's your odd man out? Who's your 27th guy that you'd put on your team?
I already said that. Yeah, it's Cliff Lee, definitely.
Cliff Lee over Louis Castillo?
No, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So Castillo, like I said, with Castillo, he's not in the game long enough for me. That was my criteria to not only being really good, but also having had an impact on my tournaments, on my pack winnings, and that's. I just thought that Castillo is not in the game long enough, and. Otherwise, if it was just those two cards, I would probably pick Castillo. But with him being not eligible for me, it's Cliff Lee.
All right. Well, if you missed it very, very quickly, our favorite bronze cards for the cycle, we both like Joey Gallo. However, one of us liked the live, one liked the historical one better. We both put Roberto Clemente in our top 26. Both have Dink Mothel, both have Bruce Petway, both like Woody Held, and both like Bob Horner and Perez. Pitcher-wise, we both like Lucas Giolito, Dave McNally, Sid Fernandez, and Hasegawa. And then in terms of our differences, I liked Gorman Thomas as part of my top 26. D-Block like Johnny Dickshot. I like Jimmy Wynn. He liked Ethier. I love Brock Holt. He liked Fred. He liked a lot of Cubs. Fred McGriff. Jerry Pretty was part of my top 26, whereas he liked Bellhorn. I liked the limited edition Vaughn. He went with Ken Berry. I like Estelela. He likes Bobby Smith. DeRosa for D-Block, or for me, Volmer for D-Block. And then pitchers, I had Cliff Lee. He did not. He had Gonsolin, and I did not. I like Burton. He liked Kluber. Castillo for me, Brad Hogg for D block, Wood for me, King for D block, Cox for Lap, Hershiser for D block, BB for me, Ford for D block, and then Timlin for me, Boddicker for D block, and I liked the limited edition Eldred, and he liked Jimmy Key. So we had less than half that were similar, the same, but that just goes to show that there was variety. There were different favorites that we each had in Iron and Bronze. So thank you for that, D block. It was fun going through those cards one last time and reminiscing. Before we go, let's take a look at the 5L, see where we're standing. We should be getting pretty close to the semis, I think. I lost out, obviously, because it's not green anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Colorado team, again, in 7 games. Quinn. I don't think I've come across them in this tournament. Quinn.
They're in my
Colorado.
Diamond League.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay. So we are currently in the quarters where the Blue Hornets have beat the Washington Park Rangers. The Wolves have a 1-game lead over Andy from Sheffield. EVC, or as you call them, Evil VC, has been taken out by the Tigers and Mort.
But that's Charles, not
there's
EBC.
what's that?
That's Charles, not EBC.
Oh yeah, Charles, yeah, New York. Okay. And we got the Mile High Mayhem GT Sundown. Let's see. All right. He's got the Cal Eldred. He's got the Brad Hogg. He's got the Jimmy Key. And he's got the Oral Hershiser. I swear we didn't copy you. Did you copy us? Did you steal our slide deck before you went here? How about hitters? He's got the Brock Holt. That's number 5. You know, neither of us had Bogarts, but I think it's just because the timing.
No.
No? The same with Sweeney. I know, or not this Sweeney, the other Sweeney. Mike Sweeney. Who else? I think that's it. Yeah. And Sporer going up against down 1 game, but you can't count Sporer out. He's the comeback kid. Who does he have?
That. Jimmy Ryan, Horner, Cabrera.
He's got the Rusty Kuntz that you like. He's got the Iron Clemente that you had. Jimmy Ryan. And pitcher-wise, you know, this guy made a push late. Van Gilder. Fred made a push as a hitter for Iron. So, yeah, there's definitely, he's got the Archie Vaughn, too, that you mentioned. So it seems like a lot of these cards that we have as our favorites are playing in this tournament in the final 8. So good luck to the rest of you. Okay. So last thing I'm going to ask you here before I let you go, D-Block, is now that you're going to enter the game from the start, and you're probably excited about that, getting in on the ground floor. What advice would you have to people coming in at the very beginning when they play OOTP25? What should they be doing in the first week of gameplay?
Go in with a plan. Make sure that you know what you want to do. If you want to focus on league play, there are certain things you probably do first, and that would be probably go in with a lot of quick tournaments to just get card packs to get those drops, to get put them if the cards you don't want, you don't need, put them early on in the card shop to get the most out of them, to use those funds to play with your league team. That would be if you're going with league. If you're going with the tournament teams, don't do too much at first. Don't play 3 or 4 or 5 sections at once. I would concentrate on 1 or 2 that you like and that you play. That could be maybe silver, and put all your resources in there, so you can have a competitive team there that gives you the packs. Maybe if you just want to go for tournaments, get you the packs that you can sell then, and then you can expand from silver to bronze, or to iron, or to gold, and just go from there. But go in with a plan. Take for the first 2 or 3 weeks, maybe not 3 weeks, but for the first 2 weeks, concentrate on one thing. Get really good there, and so you can have a steady stream of packs coming in.
Yeah, no, good advice. Don't try and do too much to start, because it's better to be good at one or two things than to be below average at many things in this game. And once you get a good handle on one or two tournaments or on league play, then push it to something else that you want to do. And also sell your duplicates early when the game comes out. Gauge the card shop, and that's how you can make some perfect points. Okay, I will tabulate the winner of our contest, because I have to go through it manually with the 19 entrants and look at all the different responses. Once again, the answer to question 1 was Carl Lundgren. Question 2, it was Sid Fernandez. Question 3, FP Santangelo. Question 4, we both had Roberto Clemente. Next one was Shane Halter. Next up, Jim Booten. Neither of us had Pete Lecoq on our team. And then the tiebreaker was the Jimmy Key card with the pitcher BABIP and with the control. Well, we're going to do one more special giveaway here, because D-Block, at the beginning, you talked a little bit about, you stream on Sundays. Kind of shout out, what time do you usually start up on Sundays?
What was it, 8:30 Eastern?
Okay. Are you planning on, doing any extra streams when the new game comes out, or are you going to stick to Sundays for now?
No. I think in 1 week's time, I think I am going to I'm going to be streaming, and I think I'm going to try to stream at least 24 hours and at the first day. Let's see how that goes. Yeah,
24 hours straight.
Yeah, just try that, and let's see how that goes. Maybe I can go longer, right? I'm not 24 anymore. But
a D-Block card, it would have a stamina of 190.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Holy
that would be 48 hours.
Yeah. Okay, so we can look forward to that. And I know that. When did you start streaming? Do you remember the actual month?
Yeah, it was in November for that PTCS. I think November 19th or something like that. It was my first stream.
All right. If there's a mod in the chat, EVC, if you're still in the chat, you know what? I'm going to do that quickly.
Here's the mod. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out. Don't cut the D-Block Dragon. There you go. Go follow that guy. You'll learn a lot, especially when the new game comes out and he has a fresh start. I guess the other thing we should mention too is congratulations on making affiliate with OOTP. How do you feel about that?
I don't know about that.
What? Oh, you don't know about that?
No.
No? D-Block, where have you been lately?
I don't have an email about that.
What? You don't know about the affiliate?
No.
Oh. Oops.
Spoiler alert.
Wow. Everyone, join me in congratulating Don't Cut the D-Block Dragon for making the affiliate program with Out of the Park Development. It is official. D-Block is part of the affiliate team. Congratulations, D Block.
Thank you very much. That's a big surprise now. Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh no, Cavacom is not the baby anymore. No, I'm the baby.
Now I gotta change my my video clip around there because Cavacom is not anymore the baby. You, my friend, are the baby.
Well, thanks
Yeah,
a lot.
we keeping it secret a little bit. I talked to the powers and said, I know he's applying. He's going to do a good job. I hope he gets in. And if he does, can I announce it to him? And they said, oh, we'll try and make that work for you. So D Block, I thought, having you find out live on stream is
that's
much better than reading an email. So congratulations. I know that you're going to do a wonderful job. And to add to that, drops will now work with your channel. Next time you stream, you will have OOTP24 drops.
Thank you. Really have to thank you, Laptop, and you have to thank Cavacom. You two were really the biggest help that I had. And of course, I have to thank Minerva. He has been a great help there, modding there. And the guys who were there at the beginning with the stream when there were like 8 guys in there. I don't know what to say else. Just thanks for the community for getting me up there so quickly. I hope I provided some fun for you and Sunday mornings with your Sunday morning coffee or so. And I'm speechless. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Laptop. Thanks a lot, Cavacom, and thanks a lot, OOTP, for making that happen.
It's not often D Block is speechless. If you've watched his streams, he can go on a little bit of a rant every once in a while. Yeah, and you know what, Cava, to honor your becoming affiliate with OOTP, we're going to do a 10-pack giveaway here. So chat, you don't get to enter, Cava, D Block. You don't get to enter.
No, I didn't. I never do.
Yeah. Chat, !enter, tickets. Again, once again, give it up for Don't Cut the D-Block-Dragon, streaming on Sundays. Going to try and do a marathon stream when OOTP 25 comes out. And now we'll officially have drops. A couple other pieces of information off stream. I'll talk to you about D-Block with this as well. But I remember when I got accepted into the affiliate program and reaching out to, your kidneys and Gorgo and EVC and Tessuigi and Nersha Benko as fellow Canadians kind of helped me a little bit. So, just I'm sure you'll help people along the way, and I know you're going to give a lot of good advice to people too. So
I'm trying.
You're going to be itching to stream before Sunday. I know you are. You're going to want to get on there and get those drops going. We are kind of almost done a break here, and then we'll do our draw here. Are you still actively playing OOTP 24, or have you kind of, just do the odd thing here and there?
No, I'm actually playing. I'm playing less than I played before, but on my main team, I'm still trying to get to Perfect League.
Yeah.
Again, did not work out in the playoffs last Sunday, but I did finally get the Beltra. So
you did get the Beltra.
I did pay like 500,000 for it. So or 550,000 for it. So next time. So next week.
Hero Driver, I'm gonna have to figure out the answer manually because I got to go through each of the responses here to see who won. So I will do that off screen, and whoever has won the contest, again, 2 winners of 5 packs each. I will get those names out. Also, 5 packs go to EVC for taking the bounty today, and give you 1 more minute. If you want to enter, we're doing a 10-pack standard pack giveaway in celebration of our very own Don't Cut the D-Block-Dragon, who has moved up to become an affiliate with Out of the Park Development. He just got the news mere moments ago. So get entered into the contest. I'll give you 1 more minute. And I think that's about it. It's been a fun year, and Can't wait till OOTP25 comes out. I know I pre-ordered. I heard you on your stream say you've pre-ordered as well.
Yeah, I did.
So you're going to have the beta version ready to go. It's always fun getting like in on day one. It's your first time. You've got in on Perfect Team on day one.
Yeah, I remember those days from World of Warcraft. On day one, there was always, when the new expansion, it's always a special day.
Yeah. Okay, gang, 30 seconds to get entered in the contest. While we're waiting for the last couple entrants here, let's take one final look at today's 5L. Is Spore eliminated? The GT Sundown. Take out the comeback kid. Well, 3-3 with the Wolves and the Pub Goers. And Spore, the comeback kid, won game 6. So they will be going to a game 7. Sorry, GT. My money's on Spore. He likes to win a lot of those game 7s. Okay, let's draw our winner, and then we're out of here. 10 standard packs will go to... Close it off. KK Fitz. KK.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. KK, if you can send me a whisper, please, with your PT username. Even if it's KK Fitz, please just send me a whisper. Otherwise, I may forget about it. I won't if it's on the whisper. All right, D-Block, that officially is it. No other surprises for you. Thanks for joining me today. Again, congratulations on becoming an affiliate, and I'm sure we'll have many more discussions on cards.
I hope
when the
so.
new game comes out.
I always love being on your stream.
All right. We'll chat after stream. Just, we'll take you off screen and I'll say goodbye. And then
all right.
I'll come back and chat with you. All right. That is it, guys. That is all we have. Thursday, I am back. On Thursday, we're going to show you the top performing cards in February for the 5L. So I'll show you all the statistics for 5L cards on Thursday. Plus, we'll probably rip a few packs and, maybe do a speed run, and we'll do some things. We'll do some things on Thursday. Maybe we'll have a trivia contest. Kind of miss the Warbot trivia contest. So back Thursday at about 1 p.m. Eastern. Again, no Twipped and no one to raid into today because Dynastic is prepping for his interview that comes out tomorrow at about 8 p.m. Eastern with the news of the Hall of Fame partnership that they have going on. All right, chat. Have a good one. Again, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day. We'll see you next episode.
A very good friend of mine told me something the other day. I'd like to pass it on to you. I believe what he said to be true. He said we're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day, and the sun is shining in this rainy city, and the sun is shining. Oh, well, isn't it a pity? And every year has its share of tears, but every now and then it's gotta rain. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day.